Oh, welcome to Risen's Unstoppable League. Week number 5, we have the PF Mind Goblins up against Bilbo's Book Club. Bilbo
Mhm.
Baggins himself, the holder of the one true ring, has made a venture to play with us today, and I'm digging it. As always, I'm joined by my two partners in crime, Darter Wolf and DBC. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Dying.
Yeah, a little bit.
Wow, that's just like two sides of the coin right there.
It was a long week this week. There was a lot of stuff that went on at work, and I was super happy when we were super slow because it is Indigenous Peoples Day on Monday. So
Yes.
when that
Yeah.
happens, it goes slow at my work. So when it was super slow, I told my manager, I'm like, I'm going home. He's like, I bet. I came home and went to bed till like
Nice.
2. It was great.
Nice.
It was
I
pretty good.
I mean for big army, okay, caveat. When I say big army, I mean like the rest of the army, excluding myself.
Fair.
So big army got a 4-day weekend, but I still had to go to work.
Yeah.
But at
Valid.
least my shop was nice enough to give everybody like a 3 hour release. So
Okay.
I got home pretty quickly.
Nice. Love to
I
hear
made it
it.
I made it back for breakfast.
Ah, yes. And speaking of things being early, that kind of segues me to World starts tomorrow night. So
It does, yeah.
I guess it's not
Unofficially starts.
technically Worlds, but whatever.
It's
I'm
the
calling it
it's the
that.
It is qualifying
it's the
series,
last
yeah.
match before we start.
So just to warn everyone in Twitch chat, this is the time for those of you who remember from last year that I will be spoiling World's results to kind of parallel what we're talking about when
Yeah.
we're like going through things. So if you don't want spoilers, you better either watch those games or look at Twitter so that way you know what's going on because I'm not holding anything back. So
Or
you've been warned.
just press the mute button, and then when we get in game, pray to God we don't spoil anything.
Also that. Also that. All right, that's fair. But let's quickly go to predictions for
Yes,
this
Yeah.
because
yes, yes.
we have our wonderful stream producer here who's got to be quick away. So these are the predictions that we have right now. So as you can see, all of us are 2-1 except for Hyper with the 2-1 in favor of Bilbo's book club. But
Y'all are
Mei
2-0.
Lu,
Y'all are 2-0. I'm the only
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah.
Melu, let's
whatever.
start with
English.
you.
Yeah. I'll say Mei Lu, where are you at? Give us your reasoning real quick.
She's muted and doesn't even know it.
Sorry, my computer decided it wanted to throw a little bit of a fit today. Listen. I'm going 2-0
Yeah.
because of the vibes. Entirely because of the vibes. For those that do not know, for those that are uninitiated to the Melu lore, I know absolutely nothing about League. I am talking like I to the point where I do not understand why you can't just all 5 run down mid and just break the tower and win. Like I am that uninitiated to the League world.
Oh,
So I was also told that it's ARAM, but I still don't understand why you can't just do that in a normal match. Okay, but I'm sure someone will take the time to explain it to me one day. It hasn't worked quite yet. But I am going entirely off of logo vibes. That is all. That's all I've got.
Logo vibes.
Yeah.
Logo
You
vibes. And
respect
so
it.
far, aren't I like tied for first or something? What was the
Yeah.
See, so far I'm doing pretty decent.
Yeah, well, let's go to Dart, and he can read off where we're at in standings.
Oh yeah.
Oh geez. Well, I was a bit slow this week and playing too much solo queue, so I didn't update it. But I believe after last week, you're no longer tied for first. But after the first 3, you were. All of us had 2 points. I think
Oh,
last
you
week's
got the prediction
predictions kind of.
right last week.
You know what I
Yeah,
That's
think
yeah,
right.
it was?
Uh,
I think last week's prediction I never updated it, and I think
yeah,
it was just whoever fixed that for me because I was in Canada
yeah.
last week. I was
Hey,
being a
I'm here every
non-league
week.
fan and supporting Blizzard, so
Mm,
You're
you
supporting
know
the
it's okay.
enemy.
the
Who?
I'm
enemy.
sorry. I'm sorry. I betrayed y'all's trust. But you know what? I think I can take it back. I believe in myself and the logo
Nice.
supremacy.
Yeah, always.
Right.
Mine was
so
purely
Dart,
based off of stats. That's all I'm gonna say
Yeah,
for
me
now.
too.
We'll get more into it
you
later.
guys are going off
Yeah.
stats. I mean, I'm not gonna do the thing where what I did last week, where I'm like, oh, I'm always gonna vote for the underdog just because I love a good underdog story. This time around, last week I was kind of like 50-50 with University of Hawaii and Spartans, but this week I genuinely do think that Bilbo Book Club could have a shot. Uh,
Hmm.
at winning the series itself.
Mhm.
I'm saying they're going to be able to drop a game, maybe not game one, probably game one, if anything. But I do believe that they can beat the Mind Goblins. But it is honestly really going to come down to how they're going to play the matchups, not only just in the jungle itself, but in the mid lane.
That's
Because
fair.
I think the top lane can hold his own. It's just realistically, it's the jungle and the mid lane. And if they're able to play around picking priority targets correctly in team fights, then they actually do have a pretty good chance of winning.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. I like that. But it sounds like we're getting ready to go into draft, and I think we have a super
Yeah.
special surprise for draft. It's a little
Yeah.
outside of what we normally do. If we can go ahead and
We do.
get started with that one real
So,
quick.
so let me just say this, Twitch family, unstoppable friends.
Yes.
I have been advocating for a good couple weeks now to get this layout for us.
Yes.
Because they use it in Divine, they use it in
Mhm.
Champions League.
Champions.
I was like,
Yeah.
we got 3 people every week. Give our producer the ability to throw all 3 of us up here because
Yeah.
we all 3 of us want to talk. So let's get into draft. First time all 3 of us get to talk.
Okay, so we got a Zillion band, a Moomin band, and Hecarim band. The Hecarim band makes a lot of sense, actually.
Rakan band
I
makes a lot of sense
don't.
as well.
I don't know about the Zillion band. I know
Yeah.
you Hyper looked up their stats. Jarvan band's kind of funny because we were memeing that if you I guess Mind
Well,
Goblin
on
doesn't
blue
want it
side,
over. Yeah, that's
blue
what I'm
side
thinking.
Jarvan band.
Very
Normally,
interesting.
normally, like especially the last few patches, Jarvan's been a red side must ban, but Ash first pick right off rip. I think
I do
pick.
like that.
there's a
Wow.
lot of things that are available that are pretty good into this. I don't know how many of these players in Unstoppable play it, but Senna is super good right now. So
Mhm.
things like Senna Seraphine, Senna Swain are very strong, and also Senna Nyla is a very niche
Senna
lane combo
Nyla.
that is very
Interesting.
strong. Which
Speaking
there's
of
Nyla.
Nyla,
Interesting. It's a good matchup into Ashe. The only issue with the Nyla matchup, unlike the Samira matchup, is you can't block Ashe ult.
yeah.
So which is why I prefer the Samira matchup over the Nyla matchup, because you can just W mid fight, and they're actually gonna go Nyla
Oh
Sona, which is
no.
an interesting support to pair with that.
Interesting. I mean, but the one
I
thing we
mean,
do
doesn't
know
Nyla
about.
usually
Oh,
like her aggressive supports over
Yeah,
the
the
attackers?
best support
yeah.
pairing on current patch to pair with her is Rakan, but it's banned, so
Which makes
and by
sense.
them as well. I think like next to that, there's a number of enchanters that do very well. Melio is very strong, Senna is very strong, Janna can do well.
Yeah.
Lulu is pretty good, and Taric is also the other premier lane partner alongside Rakan. But Sona's still good,
They're
and
gonna
there's
lock in the
Seraphine
Seraphine
actually.
themselves. Interesting.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
that is
And
a
a
flex pick we do
Maokai
have to keep in
follow, all
mind.
right, almost
Yeah.
instantly.
So one thing we have to keep in mind is Seraphine is a flex pick, so it could go mid lane. It's not likely. We mostly see it more in the bot lane as the support role. Graves being hovered at the moment,
Wow.
which is a champion we haven't seen very often. Honestly,
It's really rough in this game.
this split. And I definitely agree with you. There's a lot to stop him from being able to do what he wants. The Ashe slows, Seraphine root, Maokai existing, and then if they just continue to draft like tanky from there, okay.
I
So
like
switch
it a
to
lot
Zinzao.
better.
I like Zinzao a much better.
I
And
was a little nervous on the Graves pick too.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna lie.
It's
I
not necessarily
definitely would.
bad. It's just kind of difficult to play against that much range and CC.
Mhm.
So Zinzao, much better pick. It gives them a little bit more engage, which they were lacking. Because you don't want Sona to be your primary engage, and now Zinzao's not primary engage either.
Oh, Gwen
But it
is
gives them a
good.
little bit more pick potential. Gwen band, right away. It looks like they're looking to probably pick yeah, they're definitely looking to pick Ornn or Sion with those two bands for sure. I would assume.
Yeah.
And I do like what BBC is doing and targeting their mid lane. We have Victor and Syndra band away. This particular mid laner loves their control mages.
Corky's
I don't
interesting.
know how I feel about Corki. I like the Lissandra pick though with their comp itself. I don't know how well it would do in lane though.
The only issue with Lissandra is it's blind, and Lissandra blind. I mean, Seraphine
Yeah.
is technically a flex, but it can just go mid lane and make that Lissandra lane very difficult.
Anivia is
The Anivia
decent.
is a much better blind pick.
I do like the Anivia here.
The thing is, Mind Goblin's mid laner does like to play a lot of aggressive picks, whether that's
Yeah.
Aurelia, Akali. I've seen Yone and Yasuo in their builds as well. So, or
Yeah.
not builds, but in their picks as well. So anything that like that Suki in particular is
Look at
comfortable with,
Seraphine
they
mid.
will pick it. I think. Oh no, they're gonna actually hover the
All
Ari at
right.
the moment.
Wow.
That's another really aggressive pick that they like to play. I actually like the Ari into Anivia matchup. it's a when she hits 6, you can get out of Anivia's nonsense pretty
I'm not a
easily.
big fan of Ari with their comp though. They have a
With
lot
the
of
comp, I
AP.
agree.
Yeah, with their comp, they have a lot of AP at the moment. Putting like the top and the bot laner at like 80 patrol. So I don't know how I feel about it.
How bad is Nefiri top in this game?
That's what I was wondering, because we didn't see too many like top laners from Mind Goblin's top laner, but we saw a lot of Neferi games. I don't want to see Neferi. I would rather
Yeah,
see something like
okay.
Darius instead.
All right.
Okay, so that
Yeah.
works out. So from here, I mean, BBC gets the counter pick
I
for their
mean,
top laner.
realistically, all they're missing is hard CC. Hard engage.
Yeah, they
no.
need. The problem is with this Darius blind is they need something like
Aatrox.
an Orin, Scion, Gnar, something that gives them backline access more than just Xin Zhao, because it's going to be insanely difficult to get to this Ashe. Aatrox is into Darius, I believe it's more of a skill matchup than a counter matchup.
Skill
And it's a
matchup, yeah.
really interesting pick here as well. They're sort of relying on just steamrolling bot lane and winning through that based on the looks of this, because
Yeah.
Nyla has to do quite a lot of work in these fights. That's not to say that they don't have damage, because they have a ton of damage with Xin Zhao, Aatrox, and Anivia. And Sona can do a really good job in a comp like this. Enchanters like a lot of carries. However, I just think it's fairly difficult with the amount of pick potential that Mind Goblin's comp has.
Oh yeah.
With Ashe, Seraphine, Ari, and Maokai, if anyone gets caught out, they are getting 100-0 in CC with like 10 seconds of single target CC there. And the only one who can really survive that is Xin Zhao or Anivia with passive. So, because none of those CC abilities are dodgeable by Nyla.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about as I was watching like the final parts of this draft. But I do see some pretty decent disengage on the side of Bilbo's book club. They have Sonal, they have Xin Zhao, I can't think of what it's called, and then Anivia wall as well. And arguably you could say Aatrox W too. But it's like they could choose to start a fight. They really actually they can't really choose more or less to start a fight on their terms. They have to rely on something from Anivia to hit, and most likely Sona ultimate as well to be the engage, or Xin Zhao to do something really cheeky to get that backline access that you were talking about. But he's really the only one that can get back there. And even then, you have a Seraphine and an Ashe who can keep him away. So that's just gonna be one of those hard things that that they're gonna have to figure out. Very interesting though.
I think the big thing for me is with
2 seconds, 2 seconds, brother. 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Before you're gonna say what you're gonna say. If you guys are seeing on screen right now, Chippy's messing with it, trying to get it a little bit more looking prettier, but we do have the ability to show you where each champion is going in their respective lanes. Because I know last week we had a draft come up and it was like, yo, where is everyone going? This is kind of crazy. It's kind of confusing. But as we finish the draft law and then we get this screen and it shows us where they're locked in. And then at the end of it,
we get
lo and behold, we see the runes, so we don't have to guess what they're going to be taking. So I just wanted to lay that out there real fast. Back to the point, my friends.
That speaking of runes, that kind of leads me back to my hatred of Everfrost Ari. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I'm really hoping this is more of a. Let's say electrocute and just please rush Ludens. Just with Nyla, Sona, and Anivia, that's 3 people you can just 100-0 if you just stick to that really big damage Ari build. And I really hope Suki does that. They like to play really aggressively, so I don't know why you wouldn't do something like that.
I mean, into their comp, would you really want to go just damage and then be done with it?
Yes.
I mean, they do have the CC. They have enough CC from a lot of people. But I don't know, with the Aatrox and the Xin Zhao being able to get to the backline and get in front of your face, very mobile champions along with Nyla, I feel like that Everfrost might unironically be the better choice in this game sense, just to add a little bit of extra like stopping power, if you would.
Yeah, my only complaint with Everfrost in this particular game is they have so much CC already, especially single target CC, that the layered CC gained with Everfrost doesn't provide too much. I know, like in like very high levels of play and in pro, they almost always go Everfrost regardless of their composition, just because any CC is good CC. To be fair, and Ari with Everfrost still does a decent amount of damage, and usually she's not the solo AP threat, which in this game she's definitely not, because even support Seraphine does a ton of damage.
Oh, yeah.
I do just think though, since the comp for Bilbo's Book Club is all damage and no frontline, if
Oh,
you're
we can
you're
summon
really relying on
Goblin.
Aatrox and Xin Zhao to be your sole frontline, which is not amazing thing to look for. Although you do have a lot of healing with Nyla Sona, I don't think it'll be enough to be able to withstand the damage across from them. And if Darius gets one reset, that's really all they need. So I think you just look to give as much damage as possible, just so this Darius can kind of take over these team fights at any point, even with just a single flank TP.
And to no
Would you-
surprise, they're both taking Conquer, as
Yeah.
we can see below. So that's not much of a surprise. I'm really more curious about the mid lane runes more than anything, because I'm expecting the two junglers, Xin Zhao and Maokai. Maokai's probably gonna have either Aftershock or mm, I've seen Guardian taken too, so that's kind of a weird one. I say, or Phase Rush is another one. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
we
like
got
Alright,
Phase
Phase
Rush in this
Rush.
game.
yeah.
Xin Zhao going lethal. I thought Jin Zhao likes to go Conqueror.
It's either or.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
Okay.
either or. Yeah. I
Okay.
think the
I don't
Phase
play
Rush is
jungles.
definitely Phase Rush is standard. Area
Arian
I like.
comment.
Going
Okay,
with
interesting.
Area I like.
That tells me
It's
it's gonna be
Comment,
Everfrost
with a
Ari.
comment.
It's gonna
Honestly,
be
that's
Everfrost Ari.
it's cosmic. Yeah.
Dang it.
The
That-
comment Anivia is interesting.
yeah.
Actually.
The Anivia with the comment is kind of confusing because I thought Anivia likes doing electrocute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think comment's all right. I mean, if she's gonna be with Leandries, they can proc after the fact and
Yes. Yeah.
secure a kill, so it's not that big of a deal. So let's
That makes
see. I
sense.
see lethal tempo on both of them. Yep. Okay.
Makes a
Cool.
ton of sense.
And maybe
Magical boots for Ash actually
I
interesting.
see that. Yeah.
I
Interesting.
usually go biscuits and approach
I
velocity.
like biscuits more because it gives you
yeah.
extra mana too.
Well, it's not even that. I think
Hmm.
early boots on Ash is so important. So if you're going magical forward, you're delaying your tier 2 boot spike till like minimum 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you get kills, you'll get magical boots before that, but you still have to upgrade them. So generally, like at earliest, you're going to be getting them at like 10 minutes,
But,
even if
I
you get
mean,
early kills.
But let's say
which
you
is
hit a level 3,
a little bit
you
late.
hit like for some reason an insane level 3 2v2 breaks out, you get a double kill, now you're basing with 1100
Now you get it
gold.
at 10. Yeah, now you get magical
you're
foot.
basing with 1100 gold, but now you can't even buy them.
Exactly. You can't buy tier 2's first base, even if you get a double kill early. And even if you do get that double kill early, you're still waiting till 10 minutes for your boots.
Yep.
Generally, like, also both of these supports are going fairly standard runes, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
Nothing really shocking there. I would think
I'm a
Seraphine can
little
go comment
shocked
instead of
that
Airy.
Nyla isn't running cleanse this game.
Yeah, I think both ADs should run cleanse this game, to be honest.
I agree.
I mean, Ash could probably justify
She'd run
not
exhaust
doing
instead.
it. Yeah, I mean, I can see it, but at the same time, Nyla, I 100% should not be running Ghost. Like, needs to take that cleanse. There's too much CC on the other side.
No, this is very much a retroactive thing, but I think Samira is insane on this game. Instead of Nyla, if you just transplant Samira in, because it just completely negates all of the engage, like the CC. Because one Samira W that's well timed can block Seraphine ult, Maokai ult, Ash ult, Ari Charm. Any of those are just blocked by Samira, and they don't really have a dedicated frontline unless they have full tank Maokai, but it is Phase Rush, so it'll be like off tank Maokai, I'm assuming. So I think Samira goes crazy with the amount of damage that they have in their comp. However, obviously you're not going to blind pick that champion. I also don't think you can blind pick Nyla either, but they were confident enough to do that. So
I think
Nyla can do a lot, but she has to take cleanse just because she doesn't have that same ability.
So we're actually, since Let's Expect LA is done, so let's quickly go Dragon Souls, and then I think we can just get right into game. I think it loaded, honestly, so let's do Dragon Soul and go right into game, if I'm being honest. So I'll go first and be wrong first, most likely. So I'm gonna say it's gonna be an Ocean Soul this game, and no reason, just because.
Ocean
I'm gonna go Infernal.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Hextech.
Oh, I'm wrong already. So.
Oh, you could have cheated. Are you kidding me? You didn't cheat.
Actually didn't know. I just saw it.
I'm wrong already.
I mean, we gotta double check the Dragon Pit first before we.
You're right. It could be Chemtech.
It could be Chemtech.
Nope, it's not.
Nope, it's not. All right.
All right. Well.
All right. Well, bring us in, Darter, as soon as Chip is ready.
Well, with that and us rambling on for far too long, so we talked through the entirety of Spec Delay, and I was wrong immediately, which I haven't been yet this season. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for the first game of PF Mind Goblins versus Bilbo's Book Club. And center 5 point from both teams is exactly what I would be expecting. We mentioned it earlier on. 4 TPs, no cleanses for either AD carry, which I think both of them should have this game. I think the bigger thing that does is with the exhaust on Nyla, she can't cleanse that off in addition to all the CC. So even the spot lane 2v2, it'll be kind of rough for them.
Yeah, I'm with you there, for sure. So we're just gonna have to wait and see like what happens between these two AD carries. I do think so. That's actually I'm gonna piggyback off of that. That's something we've noticed a lot this season. Oh, a little trading in the top side actually. Looks like I will definitely also say jalapeno wrong on purpose, so no one get mad at me. But that's a noticing increasing trend we've been seeing is the lack of cleanse, especially out of like hard CC comps. So it's very interesting. Now I get it, yeah, cleanse can only cleanse one ability, sure, but sometimes it's a make or break ability that you can cleanse, and it's just worth taking it.
I'm gonna double check real fast, but I thought cleanse also not just got rid of one CC factor, but for the next like 2 seconds it
gives you tenacity.
Yeah,
like the big thing with cleanse, especially on a mobile champ like Nyla, if you cleanse the Seraphine, for example, and they're landing CC on top of it, you can dash out of it to your allies. So mobile champions taking cleanse, it does a little bit more than just 1 CC. It's a little bit less valuable on low mobility AD carries just because they can still get chain CC'd through cleanse. Like Jhin, for example, if you have a lot of single target abilities, even if he has cleanse, you'll still get chain CC'd because he doesn't have the mobility. Which is why I think heal is fine for Ashe, because she's really only cleansing Sona ult, and which is a very high impact ability and a hard thing for Ashe to dodge. So.
Oh yeah.
But I still think Ghost is better than heal for her this game though. Because there's a lot of kiting that they have to do. Although this level 2 is
not good. Oh my god!
Really early out of Fuzzy Lumpkins right there. I'm not gonna say your name on cast, my guy. You were just whatever you playing.
So wow, that was pretty nuts. The level 2 taking over first, which makes sense. Also, predictions are live in chat. In case you're wondering, predictions are live in chat. Just say it again. Predictions are live in chat. And I was watching when we've panned over to this mid laner a couple of times, Suki in particular, and I'm just checking his movements, and they're kind of nuts.
Yeah, he's
I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty impressive. That's not something we see like not that often per se. Homeboy's definitely playing with his screen locked and like just kind of understands like the movements of the champion to make. That's something that like streamers like LS will stress on, is instead of like totally telegraphing where you're going to like move to, tell a story with where you're going to go and be quick with your movements as well. Yeah. But the spot lane's low. They could actually no, Rusty Crow is here, and I think they're 100% dead here if the
ADCs are he is here. Ashe looks like he's about to walk him down, but a really nice flash to get out of that. But an exhaust is going to get dropped immediately. The spear goes out. The root is up, and they're just going to dash on in. They first blood going right over Sona.
He should have just towered over them.
Passive auto, best support in NA, has the best flash skills I've ever seen. Flashes out of that one. No mana. Flash followed by the jungler Maokai. Takes out the ADC, but Jin Zhao returns the favor and takes him out. Double buffs onto Rusty Crow.
I think Ashe just should have walked under tower and just the opposite way of Xin Zhao. They kind of killed themselves just standing there in between them, and you just go for the tower dive and go for the 2-for-1 because they're both so low, no mana, they can't do anything against you. So I think they get a 2-for-1 there, but instead it goes the other way. Unfortunately, though, Nyla getting neither of those kills.
Yeah.
However, Xin Zhao with gold is Xin Zhao with gold, and Enchanter supports getting early kills isn't actually that bad, because their items are already so cheap and high impact. It's not actually the worst thing in the world.
Well, Suki gets a nice pop on the egg for Anivia right there with a charm.
Some really good CSing too, I'm noticing. Oh, pretty close to, I think, like 9 CS a minute coming out of Suki right now at the moment. So really good at understanding the auto attack damage of Ahri. Also really good mana usage, I will add as well. I know me, I'm notorious for like running out of mana, and actually Rusty Crow's here again. No flash on the Ashe does mean death, unless they use the most broken ability in the game.
Not it looks like, but they are going to slow up the support Sona right there. I do like the positioning of the ADC.
Oh, here we go.
Pushing them over into the forest, jumping onto this. Oh, and a really nice stun coming out.
Oh my god.
Health bar super low. That Q misses, doesn't get that empowered auto anymore, and he's got to get out of there because now the Ashe is just kind of walking him down, dashes right on out, but his health bar is getting super low. If they decide that they want to take this one, they could. But now they're just going to back out with that. All I gotta say is, what a stun coming out of the Seraphine.
Oh, Ash Seraphine's broke. Okay, that's
Yep,
good to know.
I don't want to sound too flamey, but Ash could have got a double kill there.
I,
Uh,
My
I
guy's
know.
constantly-
It's like, as an ADC, it's hard for me to not comment on these things, but movement on a champion like Ashe is so important. And I've noticed already that this AD carry is standing still a lot of the time. Especially like in between autos, they're not canceling the second up other auto animation, but there's a gank in the top lane.
Ooh, Darius is
Looks
level
taking
6.
over
World Ender's up.
immediately after that. Gonna pop World Ender, flashing on out.
Oh.
Don't know if you want to flash that one, but the Apprehend is gonna miss. He's gonna hit the first Q, gonna hit the second, going maybe looking for the third, and the World Ender is gonna time on out, and Aatrox survives this game.
If Darius decides to just wait for his cooldowns, I think he just kills Be Bothered here. I'm just like, I'm kind of nervous at the moment.
I mean, he definitely could. He's got a big enough wave to help him do the damage, but it's just too close under tower. I think Aatrox might escape.
Okay, and I think he hit him with 2 Qs, so I think that'll actually deter the dive. No T. Actually, I take it back. Not Be Bothered does have a TP, but Darius is not, which means he will make the slow push back the lane or slow walk back the lane, and so I'm trying to. So the Nyla builds Collector first, right? If I'm thinking correctly. Okay, so Nyla going for the Collector first. That actually makes sense. You know, getting that early lethality, especially with how squishy pretty much everybody is at this point.
Yeah.
And getting just that prime blow up damage, and especially with Xin Zhao kind of being bot lane as often as he was, that makes a lot of sense to me. So I am not your average 80 carry player, so I have no idea what people are supposed to build anymore. And even the solo queue game I was watching earlier from a friend of mine who's in Masters, I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on anymore with a 80 carry build. It's not in the mid lane.
Yeah, the Nyla build, especially in this game, should be Dirk, tier 2 boots, finish Collector, and go Navori quick plate second.
Oh, okay. Nice.
That's what they should be building.
I'm just going to point this out. 2 things I want to harp on. A, Nyla taking Cole first, not digging it. Yes, I understand the reasoning. You know,
Yeah, I don't
have
like Cull on it.
I'm gonna have a crappy lane. Let me take the Cole to get a little extra gold. But
Nivea's
if
here.
you're in a poke lane, get the 3
I think
pops.
it's the opposite. It's like the reason you take Cull is for one of 2 reasons. You're either being really greedy and you're like, hey, I want to get extra gold and I'm going to stomp them anyways. Or you're like, this lane is going to be super uninteractive and I'm only going to be farming, so I might as well get the extra gold.
Yeah.
So, and Cull is generally a really greedy purchase rather than like a, this is going to be an uninteractive. However, that apprehend is
the
super
Q3
good.
is gonna land. I mean, the World Ender's popped,
Is he
and
gonna
Jalapeno dissuades. I don't know why he backed off right there.
I think Not Be Bothered wins this.
The Aatrox could have definitely won that. The flash forward, though, really nice Q to get an extra bit of healing. World Ender's going to be able to time out. Jalapeno sees his opening and is probably going to go for it. His Apprehend is not available 2 seconds longer, and I think the Aatrox just falls right there.
Interesting.
I think the reason why he ran away is because his Q cooldown was down, because he ulted after he full comboed, and early Aatrox QCD is very long if you use Q3. If you only use Q1 and Q2, I know I've said this multiple times, every single time Aatrox is on cast, but if you don't use Q3, the cooldown is actually shorter. So you really need to use
is this
Q3
going to be Eclipse
I-
Zhao?
I do like it in this game, honestly. I think Goredrinker is a little bit better, just because he needs to frontline, but I don't hate the Eclipse, especially since he's a little bit ahead.
I'm also so sorry. I interrupted you mid-sentence.
No, you're good.
Just ADHD took over, and I was like, "What is that?"
No, I don't think it's bad this game, honestly. I do think Goredrinker is better though.
I mean, aside from the Darius, they're all pretty relatively squishy. I'm assuming
he just has to frontline is the only reason why I think Goredrinker is better. But Eclipse is not a bad purchase. We're gonna have a 3v3.
This is gonna be a 3v3 in the bot lane. A really good stone coming out of the Sona, and the ultimate coming out of Nyla as well. Best support NA's flashed away, trying to get out of there.
TP from Ari.
From the Ari to try to get in here, but the Xin Zhao rushes on in. That is wisdom, my friend. Gets a really nice slice up on the top, but he's still pinched between 3 members. That's a 1-for-1.
The Crescent Guard knocked both Ashe and Seraphine out of the Nyla ultimate, so they didn't get pulled in and didn't take the extra damage at the end of the cast. I think she kills both of them there immediately if he doesn't press Crescent Guard. So ends up saving one of the bot laners. The other one does still die, but they trade a 1-for-1 and lose priority for this dragon, although Bananasaur is here to try and make a little bit of pressure as Rusty Crow respawns and walking down the bot jungle. So they might still be able to get this going, as Kosher is actually walking on the mid.
They're pinging it. They're coming. Yeah, no, they actually started pinging it instantly the second they saw them on it. So Xin was immediately beelining it down here. Looks like they might actually take this dragon for themselves. Seraphine does have to reset. Ash ult is up, and so is Seraphine ult. If they decide to kind of, oh, maybe they're not. They're actually gonna give this up. I take it back because Seraphine is in base. Looks like it's gonna be the Leandries for the Ahri actually.
Most broken build in the game as part of the dragon getting taken.
It's not Bobkin's AD Ahri, I'm sad.
Please do not. Oh God.
But
you want to see that?
No.
The question I wanted to ask her, the Aatrox.
You're gonna have to say that again because you cut out completely.
I was just gonna say yes.
So with Aatrox's Q, yes.
He cut out again.
Is it cutting out
in the mid lane?
Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to miss.
Every ability misses.
That coming out of Suki. I mean, all the CC missing
splash.
right here. The bird flash away, hits the stun, and walks away. Or in
What happened topside?
Away. But Aatrox 1v1 Darius in the top lane. Let's go.
Yeah. I assume we used World Ender before we comboed and killed him.
Yeah, I think so. Because Darius also had ult up as well.
Yeah, he burned
Now just engaged in the top side on Maokai.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just walking away. So I think it should be one or two tower plates for Aatrox. Okay, so one at the moment. Darius does have TP.
He'll get the second.
He does say he's greeting for it. He wants it. Yeah.
I mean, all he has to do is hit it once and then walk away.
Oh no.
No, he's okay.
He's good.
Nature's Grasp is not available.
Reed is in that middle brush, misses at Q1. They do drop a ward. They do see him. Yeah. Q2 primed and able. He does have a ward right there. Don't know how Alco Gaming is going to save you right now. He's going to get stunned up and slowed up by those bushes. But he's going to just deal a lot of damage. Wind becomes lightning in the Crescent Guard.
Oh, there it is.
Comes the dog
coming
from Darius.
Yeah, the Noxian Guillotine grabbing almost 2 kills there. Didn't quite time it right, so Silver Knights gets the other kill. But 3-1 on this Maokai is doing quite a lot already. And despite the early woes and misplayed fights in the bot lane, this game is very even. 500 gold in the favor of Bilbo's Book Club. But the Herald now look to be secured from Silver Knights. But Bananasaur is having something to say about it.
Yeah, I think so. Gonna deter them off. It looks like Xin is on his way here. Yeah, Rusty Crow's on his way, so...
I don't know if he's going to be able to stall enough time. I mean, a really good wall right there to stop Silver Knights from jumping in on him. I do like this Storm. Gonna have to cancel it out.
He's here now, no flash.
He's coming to Ash Arrow.
3,000 health on the Herald. Ash Arrow is gonna miss, and it looks like the team is just gonna call it off. Not gonna take it in.
They called it off right as the Ash Arrow flew by. They're like, nah, that hits us, we just die. So that was actually a good call to back off there. So the Herald is secure. I also wanted to point out that Darius living there was a Steel Caps diff. So having the plated Steel Caps is why he lived, out of just in case anyone was wondering. But that Herald play really heads up play, so they honestly on the side of Mind Goblins believe that, like, yeah, we can secure this just fine. All we need is just time. Oh, another tower plate over to Aatrox. That's a lot of
power.
He's up a lot of farm as well.
He's supposed to take this fight. He's 2 levels under, and he's definitely feeling it with that damage.
Here's Darius.
But Slippery on his way to slowed up. A Rusty Pro is here. World Ender has been popped. So has Nature's Wrath. But Rusty Pro is going to find the jungle. Massive shutdown going over to him. And they are just going to 1v2 this Darius. And he might be able to take one. He doesn't. He falls in the end.
Ult was like 2 seconds off cooldown from that whole fight. Oh, man.
I was fully expecting a Darius classic getting a double kill there. But fortunately for the Zinzao and Aatrox, they are able to get that. But I do think a little unfortunate, though, is Can't Be Bothered doesn't get either of those kills. I mean, he still is up quite a lot. He's up 35 CS. He should get another plate here as well. He's up so much gold. Has a full Gore Drinker. Hasn't based yet.
Gold and see what we're working.
He should be up like 1,500, I think.
1,500, yeah, something like that. Plates are down too, so
yeah,
should be. Can we take over to the gold real quick, Chippy? Oh, yeah, there you go. 1,300. You were close. 1,300. Okay.
That was close.
Yeah. Okay. So 1,300, 600 in the favor of the jungle. That shutdown did win over the Xin Zhao.
600 gold, yeah.
800 in the mid lane, and bot lane's even. I'll just lump them together, to be completely honest. Maokai is here. The grass is not a. Oh my god.
It's pretty close. The only really gold difference / advantage that
Oh, they're both here.
Wow, Mind Goblins has is in the mid lane, but here are these supports again. A really nice stun, and the Ash Arrow is gonna miss completely. Charmed up, stunned up, but they're gonna be able to take one out. Rusty Crow picking out the support, jumping in right onto Ash's face. Gonna get a really nice slow. She's gonna have to flash away. Meanwhile, Silver Knights is just trying to peel the best that he can, but can't do enough of it. The jungler falls in the end. Ash is just laying down the autos left and right. Does she get what she doesn't? It is a double kill. Going for the knife.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Definitely those item spikes are coming in. Item spikes are coming in. Collector also being done as well. Pretty sure that's.
He's farming exceptionally well.
Yeah. I was about to put him on that too. Suki has 10 CS a minute actually. Jeez.
Just about, yeah.
That's insane.
He's doing a really good job CSing.
Just hit the tower.
Drake, and it's a mountain Drake. Looks like you should have stuck with your normal mountain cloud darter.
I should have, yeah.
Oh, I like what Can't Be Bothered is doing here.
Didn't have flash.
Yep. And
Flash up now. He could have held his Q potentially, but it's.
I don't know.
It's Q max actually. If he holds his Q, his Q1 will be up instantly as soon as it drops off. So I think so.
Ari's making her way over to maybe.
She doesn't kill him.
I mean, she's got the damage, she's got the mobility. She could do it. It's gonna go for
wave, I would assume.
Caster waves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, there's no way that she does anything remotely like close to being able to delete him. She just doesn't have the items yet. The Triforce also not done on the Darius right now at the moment. He should be close to it, I think, unless he just bought a component to it. So that's not the power spike they're a little ways away from. Also, the Chemtech Drake went over, meaning that we have a Dragon Stack coming in, and that's actually really good for Bilbo's Book Club, I will say. Definitely, as we saw, that like they are more or less the underdog.
Harold was about to time out. He had to drop it in the jungle while he was taking that camp.
I think this should get the charge in.
Ooh, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, they do get the eye. Yeah, it's just gonna die. Yep, they don't take the tower though, unfortunate.
No, but I mean, it gets the charge at least. So second Herald not really favorable. Looks like bot lane's dead again.
Oh,
TP. Okay.
Yeah. Good TP to save them. I just feel like they're not respecting the Xin Zhao that too much. I mean, if you look at their bot vision, they have none of it. Yeah. It's really just the river ward and the lane ward, which is not deep enough vision to deal with a champion like Xin Zhao as such good gank potential. It's a lot like Jarvan as well. But the same respect is if you're warding that shallow, you're still susceptible to ganks even if you see them.
Just casually go on that this is what I like to call the Win Zhao. Good old Win Zhao is back. So Darius might get this tower. I'm gonna heavily emphasize might. Aatrox is gonna keep pushing, doing what he's doing in the top lane, and Nivea's here.
He won't, and Nivea's here, yeah.
Yep. All right, never mind. So he doesn't get it. Ari will be fine here. She's able to pretty much get away from anything Aatrox wants to do. But overall, in terms of like the map state at the moment, we're seeing a lot more. Actually, there's not that much vision on the map. I take it all back. It's a little something. We have some
very dark for both teams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I was about to highlight that, but I'm like, wait, it's dark.
Yeah, the big thing I'm noticing is the PF Mind Goblins have extremely defensive vision. Rightfully so. I mean, Xin Zhao is an extreme threat that can go pretty much anywhere, obviously, as the jungler. But the only vision they have is they have one blue ward in this mid brush, and they have one pink by blue buff. And then for the flip side, Bilbo's Book Club have a pretty decent vision line, although not enough wards placed along the vision line. So there's still some dark spots.
I love that wall. Wow.
Yeah, it's a good wall. I mean, they can't hit the wave, so you just get a tower for free. And,
what are we doing in the mid lane? What's going on there?
Oh, wow, mid lane shut down, going over to the Seraphine. They found the bot lane and jumped instantly on it. Xin Zhao hits the wind, becomes lightning. Here comes the exhaust. Is he going to be able to find
the heal?
Suki flashes out of there, and he jump right in on him and get the kill. World Under coming up from the north side of the river. Rusty Crow living for so long, but can't be bothered. Can't be bothered with all that CC because he finds the kill. World Ender gets a reset, and Nivea's here for the follow-up. A double kill going over to the Aatrox. They find Silver Knights. They get the slows. Are they going to be able to find the kill? He has to flash away. And the flash from the Aatrox to follow. Throws the chains, hits the Q, and he gets a triple. Can't be bothered. Cannot be bothered with all the CC.
He's not even
right now.
Darius gets his tower, but does he die in response? He doesn't have World Ender, and Noxy Guillotine is up. So they're playing with this. He's waiting for the Nyla to come before he starts
he was
fighting.
also waiting for that wave to crash a little bit too. I mean,
Oh my god.
Oh, he just gets out of there flash, but that Q1 takes him out. Aatrox, 5-1 right now. Jesus.
This is taking a turn for where we did not think this would go, to be honest. At least me and Darter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Kind of figured this would be going a different direction with the unreal amount of CC that Mind Goblin has. But overall, Bilbo's Book Club playing very well, playing with their cooldowns, especially Not Be Bothered. Oh my lord. Dude is playing with his cooldowns exceptionally well. It's just unfortunate that Fuzzy Lumpkins got caught out. So we missed the beginning of the fight, which is okay. Oh, we're doing a 20-minute Baron here.
Sneak the Baron while Dragon is spawning.
They don't know.
They're gonna get it, actually, especially since Suki is like showing on the map. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Okay, good charm.
Able to land the charm hits both the front and backwards part of that Q too. They have zero clue.
That's a fat objective bounty too that goes over to them when they get this.
Oh my goodness, they have zero clue.
They just blue trinketed it now.
They're pinging it now.
Yeah, they just dropped a blue ward on it when it was about 2,000 HP, but it was too late for them to do anything about it. Speaking of, they have 2 blue wards on the team top and in bot, actually, mid lane still has the yellow trinket. But I think it's a good Baron snake. However, they do get on Soul Point as a consequence, which is honestly not a bad trade. Going on to Soul Point for Baron for blue side here, just because they can fight these dragons going forward, and this Baron allows them to at least stall it out a little bit longer. The fact that this mid lane tier 1 is still up is actually surprising, honestly.
I do like the fact that they take it off the map and they slow down Bilbo's tempo.
I want to know who made that call too, because that was a very good call.
Yeah, it was a really good call. Yeah.
Horizon
focus second.
It was an objective bounty, a really big objective bounty, so that kind of gives them all a lot of gold spread across the map. It looks like we have item completions coming in now too. You mentioned the Horizon focus coming in for the Ahri, which I like it more or less. I like the build so far. It's not Everfrost, so I'm probably just gonna like it anyways. But woo-wee, Darius needs more time, I think. Going more defensive items right now. As we can see, the Thornmail will be the next item.
I mean, is that other component to Deadman's?
Winged Moonplate, yeah, it is. I'm assuming he's gonna go into Deadman's first, and just sit on the Bramble Vest. The problem with like completing Thornmail, right, is it doesn't give you anything else.
Good stun, and Rusty Crow comes out of that bush, but here comes Nature's Grasp, a nice loop. But that
that's a good ult.
3 members. Silver Knight's trying to rush into the back line, but a really good escape coming from Bilbo's squad.
Any enchanted crystal arrow users?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, arrow is still up. This tower at 300 HP. This should fall. It's just unfortunately
maybe they're waiting for the taking
he's standing
tier
still
1. Oh, really good stun from the
I'm trying so hard not to comment on it. It's very difficult.
Oh man, so objective bounties are going to be falling off soon as the gold gap has closed to about 3k now. Oh, that was actually a really good sidestep. Really another good sidestep. Arrow misses!
If they were red side, that would have hit.
You know what? You're right. That's completely accurate. But unfortunately, it was not red side. So
unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, he's dead here.
Kill, actually.
It's that Q3. I gotta say, it can't be bothered. Is just playing
this is
well
part of the Baron as well, because he would have gotten that tower if it weren't for the Baron empowered wave, because he just couldn't crash the wave under tower. He could have just gone for a dive if that was the case. However, speaking of,
they are going to dive onto Can't Be Bothered. He manages to take that tier 2 in the top lane.
He just runs here.
That world ender. It's going to be a 4v1. Suki's making her way in from the jungle into this fight. Make that a 5-for-1, but Can't Be Bothered is going to get shut down. Hand that over to the Darius, in desperate need of some items at the moment.
Mid layer tower fight.
Tier 1 in the mid lane, tier 2 in the top lane. I do got to say, Bilbo's Book Club is using the map pretty decently. I wouldn't say exceptionally well, but they are playing around it really well.
Yeah, that's a pretty fat top lane gold lead. Ash Arrow.
Ash Arrow's gonna find its mark. The charm and the follow-up is
the heal.
The stun comes out. I did not. I'm gonna be real. I thought she was gonna get away.
Nope, never. I never a doubt. Ahri ult does enough damage to kill, and it has enough range, so I was like, just alt W and kill her, which is exactly what happened. So it's not wasting flash a little bit there, but this should be a mid lane tier 2 as well. Although Nyla and Anivia are on their way, and Aatrox is just respawning now as well, so this could turn into something. but they should just be able to get this tower and run away. As Zenithia ult
Yeah,
actually clears the
they
wave.
do
The
get
last
it.
range
Caster
creep auto
Mid
grabs it.
Auto comes out
Yeah.
for the win.
Grabs red buff. 1 minute till Drake spawns. We'll have a pretty explosive team fight this time around as well because the Seraphs is now completed for Bananasaur, so much more livable in these team fights. However, the Deadman's Plate coming through as well, so is the Warden's Mail and the Glacial Buckler going into what I would assume Frozen Heart, because I think the only item that builds from those two components.
I believe so. Yeah.
Is that Phantom Dancer third or Runan's third from Ash?
I would
It's probably
assume
Runan's because it's a dagger.
Runan's. Yeah. You have thoughts. Do tell.
I think I might have to hold my thoughts actually.
Okay, okay.
Might be good for us.
Asuki is gonna have to flash at a Rusty Crow's flash because Wind Becomes Lightning almost tags her in the end, but we got a TP coming out of Darius into that bush right there, but the rest of Bilbo's book club is in the bushes waiting for him. A nice charm coming out from that Seraphine to stop
You can't do this.
track. And they're gonna fight right here in this red buff. Spark
Nice Q.
for Knights is just trying to get out of there. He's got a lot of
dead.
health, but it looks like the Darius is going to
fight
fall
this.
in the end. Can't be bothered. Ends up picking up that one. And this is a choke point I do not think Bilbo wants to fight in. They got so many abilities that just do so well in choke points at the moment. They're managing to get into the Baron pit, into the Dragon pit.
Oh
excuse
no,
me.
Can't Be Bothered's in a good spot. Oh
Yes, he
man.
is. He finds a good flank.
Good
And a really
flash.
good flash to follow through. The change is going to bring it back. One person, the Ash is going to fall. Hand that over to the jungler. Wind Becomes Lightning, marks him up. The audacious charge and the kill going over to the top laner.
What a really good play, bro. Oh, he stole the Drake!
There's no way! There's no
They don't have that
way
name. They have
he
that name
steals
for a
the
reason.
Drake. Suki is gonna do a lot
They
of
can kill
damage.
here.
He can't be bothered. Best support in the NA. Looks really good
all
in the
dead.
gray screen. Suki, I'm sorry you're not getting away from this one. Nivea Wall says head to the fountain. Ace going for the book.
10 seconds till bear, and they're just
I
gonna
feel
beeline
so
it.
bad for Suki in this game. He's done so well, and he just doesn't have the enough gold to really have a huge impact on these fights, especially with how fed the Aatrox and Xin Zhao are. They just have
Yeah.
10k gold. Like, they're the 4th most fed member in this game, but it's just
But it's
a
they're the
hill
only
too
fed
large
member
to
on the
climb,
team,
because this Baron should go
unfortunately.
over very easily. They have so much damage for it. It looks like they might try to find a pick. And on the note with the Runans, what I was going to say is it is good in this game because they have 4 melees, essentially, because Sona's has to play with their melees, so it's
What
effectively
happened
4
on
melee
bot
champions.
side?
Is classic, but their Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to find the Anivia, and the rest of the team is going to have a follow through. Flash coming out from Bananasaur.
They might die. Nice
Looks
ball.
like Bilbo Book Club is going to peel off of the Baron. Don't want to
careful.
continue this one. Their mid laner
Go,
is
go, go.
desperately low, and I feel like
Turn and do it. Turn and
Right?
do it.
they're just going to do it themselves, right?
We should. I mean,
Stop
they
hitting the
forced
ward.
them off.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
God.
kill the ward and they start the Baron.
Okay, but if they have 20 seconds to do this, actually, Xin Zhao could steal this. I mean, it's very conceivable that's what ends up happening, and
Ari has to go around the back of it.
Suki
Yes.
is here, but Nyla does see her on
Oh,
the
the
Why would
Charm.
you charm the Nyla?
Why? We got the Baron down at 20k, and
Oh
the
my God.
blue side manages to pick up the Baron.
Neither
and it
jungler
looks like
got
Rusty
it.
Crow is going to be able to fall in the process. TP coming into the Baron pit, and Rusty Crow's health bar finally gets
Shutdown.
annihilated.
Ari
Shutdown going over the
gets
Ash, but here's Aatrox going to be able to deal
Move.
3 people at the same time. I don't know if Can't Be
Trigger.
Bothered can get out of this one. Manages to dash away, and they're going to be able to live with 4 members up. And Dragon is spawning in 2 minutes and 54 seconds. I thought it was a little bit closer. That's why I called the timeout.
Okay, so let's roll it back a little bit. So I understand that Silver Knights and Kosher Jalapeno want to go for a play to where they want to try to stop the Baron. I get that completely. Any team is like, okay, this is probably our last shot of how we lose the game from here. That makes
Yeah.
sense, you know. Make the play, make them stop it. Cool, peel them off. But the call to turn for it afterwards, I mean, good, I think.
Oh,
Maybe it
Yeah,
was
it's
slow.
really
That was
it's a
definitely a high-
50-50.
Yeah, that was
The
definitely
the only problem with the call to turn is they didn't do a good job of zoning Rusty Crow out of pit. Now, luckily, best support NA secures their second jungle objective of the game.
I'm pretty sure
Um,
that's best jungle in A.
Yeah, I mean,
we
Seraphine has
we do name that.
gotten both of the last major jungle objectives,
Honestly,
so
good
that's
for her.
that's good for them. Rusty Crow grabbed a little bit as well. There's a
no.
huge flank by
That's
Namibia.
sees
He's
him.
on a massive flank with Banana Sword.
Nice
The
flash,
Audacious
actually.
Charge is going to be able to
Ah,
go
Sona's
through, but
dead.
that Nature's Grasp goes the
Is
complete
she?
wrong direction.
Yeah.
He's going to TP in and take the Sona completely out of the fight, and they still got the Baron buff and are marching their way down mid lane.
Arrow was almost wasted because the stun ran out before the Nature's Grasp route did. That was at the start, but nonetheless, Suki good CP to grab the kill as well. They should be able to pressure this tower fairly easy. Top laner still digging it out up there. The charm lands as well.
Good Charm.
Coming out of Suki right there.
Good
and
ult.
that Encore coming out of Sona. They managed to take that Inhibitor
dead.
turret, and the Apotheosis is
Good.
only able to grab one person. They take the AC
game's
out
over.
as well. And Rusty Crow
ends.
is running for
Can't be
his
bothered to just
life.
here.
They actually just end here, actually. Aatrox is trying to beeline his way here. Darius
And
TPing
the
in.
TP coming
This
out.
is it.
I did not
Yeah.
expect this game to go the way it had. And I do not know if Rusty Crow can stall this game out any longer. I mean, the support is up, but Sona, I'm
hit the
sorry,
Nexus,
you cannot
please.
do damage. You cannot stop this game from going over to the side of the Mind Goblins.
Really
All
good
right.
mental fortitude, that I have to say, from Mind
Yeah.
Goblin. They were down the whole game. Which I think we're going to see the gold graph in just
Yeah,
a
they're
second
down the
here.
entire game, yeah.
They were down the whole game.
That is
Look at Nyla damage. Oh no.
unbelievable. Wow.
Oh my goodness,
Look at
four.
that, like, look at the breakdown real fast. Like, they were not ahead in kills, and they were barely ahead in gold, and it was up until that
no.
last Baron take when they finally went up.
That Nyla damage is made me
I'm
cry.
seeing that, yeah.
Oh my!
That's 4,000 damage. I thought she was doing more than that, but I guess she wasn't
She-
involved.
she
in
got-
that.
She was
she-
not able to get involved in anything.
Wow.
We got baited, bro. Like, cause I thought
She got out damaged by Sona by a few hundred, I think.
And then yeah, what?
there's the gold graph right there.
Yeah, it's a bit insane.
Actually, what? How
It's
are
a
you
bit
doing
ridiculous.
that?
Yeah,
low
look at
damage?
that. She got out damaged by 1k almost by Sona, actually. That's
But
insane.
look at that gold graph! Oh my lord!
It's a bit of a roller coaster. I mean, it's entirely in the favor of Red Side. Obviously, throughout the full game, we saw it. It was all top jungle.
And
But the end of the game is a consequences with fighting without where your gold is. I mean, Can't Be Bothered has to be in those fights, but he also has to side lane because the Darius is still, exerting quite a bit of pressure, and he even beat them in a 1v1 a few times. So it's not like this Darius wasn't doing. He was doing quite a decent job, despite how the lane ended up going. Especially later on in the game, even grabbing that solo kill randomly during that Baron play that we were looking at.
Yeah, it was like what?
But I think the biggest difference, obviously, just looking at these damage charts, is in the spot lane. I mean, Seraphine nearly out dealing as much damage as the Sinivia, and the out damaging both other bot laners combined.
I'm just at a loss, man.
That's insane. Wow.
It's the thing is, I'm pretty sure 4,000 of that damage is before 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure because she got all of her kills before about 15 minutes into the game. Got that double kill it wasn't a double kill. Got the first kill during one of the 3v3s. Got another 2 kills after that, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. And then 8 assists after that. It's like, wow. I just didn't think that. It seemed like she was doing more, but stats don't lie.
Nope.
That's insane, but just wow. Game 2 from here. It's just like, what do you do? Like, you have the game in your hands, and then just unfortunate mistakes just threw it away. Like, what do you do for game 2 in this instance if you're Bilbo's book club?
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about it off screen here in a second, but what a game 1 between Mind Goblins and Book Club. If you're watching it, if you're watching at home, this should be taught in a masterclass to play games out because clearly
I played a solo queue game like this actually
Clearly
earlier
every
today.
game is winnable. That should have been an L, but the fortitude, the bounce back, and just the tenacity, realistically, from Mind Goblins puts them up ahead of Bilbo's Book Club. We're going to take a short little break, get all situated in game lobby, and we will see you guys back for game. and gentlemen, welcome back here at the Risen Unstoppable League with My Goblins versus Bilbo's Book Club. My Goblins putting one on top of Book Club, even though that gold graph said that should not have happened.
Yeah.
What a comeback! What a comeback in game number one. Darter, what do you think
Yes.
game number two should what they should do for game number two for the side of Book Club to make sure that they close the game out?
I think the biggest thing for me, it's not necessarily like champion specific. I think they're just looking for ease of execution. Because I know that like this has happened to me a lot where you're up like in a competitive environment where you're up like 6k or like 5.5k gold and then you just like stop doing things and just lose. My team does that all the time in scrims. It's kind of funny. I don't think we've lost an early game once, but we lose a lot of games because we'll be up 6k, 6.5k at 20 minutes, and then we'll just lose the game. So I think it's just a matter of making sure they're constantly making proactive plays around where the gold is on the map. So if your top laner has that much pressure, you need to play a 4-1 style, and basically he has. If your top laner is that far ahead and your jungle has that much gold, you can have your top laner play one tempo ahead of you, and then the rest of you play one tempo back, so you can always get something cross map for that top lane pressure. And if you're playing with like that much of a top lane centric composition, like they were, even though it was like Nyla Sona and that like it's very team fight heavy, if you have an Aatrox, it's very good for flanking. But yeah, I think they just need to look for ease of execution, and if your top lane is getting that ahead, you just have to play around the side lane properly. But
Bans coming in,
these
and
bans
a
are kind of
little bit of a mix-up from last game. The Ash coming off the table this time around.
banning
Same bans
Jarvan on
inside of
blue
the
side
Mind
still.
Goblins, but Hecarim,
They banned Ash.
Udyr, and Ash. Now, do we just first pick
Kaisa.
Rakan?
I mean, I was gonna say we have Rakan's open. I was actually gonna say there's really nothing that Bilbo's Book Club needed to change. Honestly, I think the Ash ban is a little bit of a meme. Yeah, they insta-locked
Has to be. Yeah.
they insta-locked Jinx, which is interesting. I don't necessarily think they needed to ban the Ash away. I think you can still take the Rakan off the table, leave the Ash open.
Ezreal, please.
Oh,
Ezreal
you went Ezreal Braum here. I actually
Ezreal
like
Braum,
that. I like that.
please.
Jinx
Ezreal is
so
so good into Jinx.
Maybe they take the Ash off because like, hey, it was a little annoying in lane. Let's just take that off the table and we'll handle them playing the Rakan. You know what I mean?
Just take cleanse. That would have solved everything.
They're gonna play a Ziggs lane. Are they gonna play Leona with it? Because that's the classic support pairing with Ziggs is Leona.
I like Nautilus with Ziggs as well.
Yeah, I mean any engage is good. It's just Leona. Leona is specifically the best support with Ziggs, just because long range CC that's non-committal. I've said this multiple times that we've seen Leona is like one of the best engaged supports for. Wow. I hope the Monkey King is not going in the jungle because that champ cannot jungle anymore. But they're gonna go Renata with Ziggs.
Interesting.
The Renata pick if it wasn't with Ziggs would be good into Jinx. But I think alongside Ziggs is a little bit interesting. Not the same level of like Wombo CC that you'd be expecting with a Ziggs lane. Also, the Ziggs doesn't do a whole lot of fighting or dying, so the bailout's not going to be doing too much. And there's the Braum taken away with the Jinx, which is extremely good into this lane pairing. I would not be surprised at all if they picked Sejuani here for jungle. I think it's super good for them. Sejuani Braum is a very classic support jungle combo that we see all the time, especially into immobile champions. Sejuani just does so much alongside Braum. But they're going to go with Zac instead, which I think is equally as good for different reasons. I think it's a little bit easier than Sejuani in a game like this, just because of the more gank angles and gank potential that it has. They're going to be looking to have a more playmaking than they did in the last game. As even though they were on Maokai, I think Zac obviously has more gank angles than Maokai does. It's Zac.
Oh yeah,
and it's a little bit easier into the Renata because you're not forced to just run at her face first.
Definitely not. You could just come from halfway across the map and you'll land somewhere in the bot lane. Echo being hovered at the moment.
I mean, that's
interesting.
No way.
It's a pretty bad.
Oh, you don't like it? Oh,
it's a pretty bad flex pick and flex nonetheless. I don't think it's any good in the jungle right now. But if you wanted to throw it there,
it's gonna be so hard. This is such a difficult Echo game.
It could be comfort is why they're picking it, which in which case I don't blame them. But I kind of agree with looks. I think we're gonna stick with the same top lane bans, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it's Gwen Camille again. I think they can pretty much get away with any top lane pick here if they want to. they're not forced into really anything. It's really what their mid laner wants to go with. If they're
Hmm.
gonna look for a similar style with the facilitating mage like Ari again, I do think Ari is still fairly good in this game. If they want to, instead they're gonna ban
Lissandra
Lissandra.
means
So
they're
I
picking
do
an
think,
assassin.
yeah, I
Okay.
think they even Ari is telling of this Lissandra ban, so they could go right back to it, or they can pick something like Yone, Yasuo Akali,
Yeah,
something like that
Corky
that
Hover.
gets really
Okay.
stomped by Lissandra. The Corky hover is again, this Echo just doesn't fit this comp at all. The Vagar hover,
Vygar is interesting. I think it's a
I'm
little
I'm
interesting.
trying to figure out the comp at the moment.
it's
Wait, they have a
all
lot of
AP.
AP. Wait, it's all.
all
Oh
AP.
no! Pick an
I
AD
don't
mid
like
laner.
it.
No.
Oh.
I really
Okay.
want to see. I really want to see if Suki is willing to pick Zed here.
Honestly, I don't see why not.
As much as it's
Oh.
not an easy matchup into Vagar, it's so hard to deal with things like Zach Brom. I think assassins do so well with like a ton of dive just because they're not the main threat. They're never the first target in fights. They are going to go with Ornn as well, so they definitely need a little bit more damage to pair with this. I would be expecting an AD mid here
There's
as
a
well,
lot
since
of
it's a
beef.
lot
This
of
is a
magic
lot
damage.
of beef.
They can still pick pretty much whatever, because solo AD Jinx is not bad, especially when they have no front line. They're not really pinned into anything. The only way that solo AD becomes bad is if Bilbo's Book Club picks something like Scion here on R5, but I doubt it. Akali, I love this
Akali.
pick. It's super good, yeah. It's really good here. Any assassin's good here, like I said, but yeah, it's just so good when you have this much CC and you're never the first target. When you have something like Zac diving in, they are gonna lock it in. And we'll
Yeah.
see what they have for top lane. We'll see if not if Can't Be Bothered is gonna go back to something like Aatrox into Ornn, because it is a good matchup for Aatrox. And he did well into the Aatrox versus Darius
I
matchup,
was
but
about
instead
to
gonna
say
grab
the
the Camille.
Camille is up on the
I hope it's not
table.
Malphite. They need damage.
Yeah, they
That's
do.
not AP, so I think Camille is good. I think
Camille or
Aatrox is good.
Fiora. I'll take
Fiora
either.
also, but the Fiora matchup's a bit
And they're gonna go
difficult.
ahead
But
It's hard, but I'll take
really.
either.
yeah.
Okay. So
All
I
right,
wanna
before
piggyback back a little bit to the.
before we get into it,
Okay, go on.
Darter gave us what his thoughts were on Bilbo's Book Club closing out game 2. We see the draft. It's kind of sways my opinion a little bit. But DC, what do you think of Mind Goblins or book clubs? No, let's stick with Bilbo's Book Club. What do you think that they need to do to close out game number 2, playing with what we're seeing?
Get a
They
6K
have,
gold lead.
they have to snowball. There's really no easy way they win this game, to be honest with you. And
It's hard.
I'm gonna admit, I think they got baited with the
Con?
Lissandra ban
Oh, for sure.
because they I don't think they expected like an assassin pick to come through, but we did. The second
Yeah.
we saw, we're like, they're picking an
Yeah.
assassin. It doesn't matter which one. It's going to be an assassin of some
Yeah.
kind. And if Suki is as good as he is on the Akali as he is on Ari,
I'm so
this
excited.
is gonna be a wipe. I'm gonna be honest with you. Homeboy is gonna run this map because Akali, when she gets ahead, is
Yeah.
ridiculous. There was a reason for her rework. She was nerfed about 12 times in a row.
Yeah.
So even now, as Hyper and I have
She got
played
buffed on one
ARAMs,
patch, and she's the best mid laner on the patch again.
yeah. Like Hyper and I have played a lot of ARAMs, and he's seen the disgusting things that like I'll do on Akali, and he's just like, why is that champion the way it is? It's like,
Yeah.
that's just how she is. And I really hope Bilbo's Book Club has a solid game plan for this. I think
Yeah.
if their top laner is going to get super ahead like in the last game, then I think they might be okay. You're kind of setting up for your Camille to do all the damage early, and then Vygar just ends up doing it later in the game. So this is going to be spicy.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just so tough with this, right? I think the Camille saves it a little bit, because it gives the Hextech Ultimatum makes it a lot easier to guarantee Zigzault, because normally with Ziggs, you see things like Jarvan, Camille, Galio, things like that just have AoE in a box CC that you can drop a Zigzault on top of. Hextech Ultimatum gives them that. The only issue with the Hextech Ultimatum is if this Camille goes too far, because we know how strong Can't Be Bothered can play in a 1v1 and in a side lane. We saw it on Aatrox, so Camille is very much a similar playstyle. It's better in that specific playstyle than Aatrox is. So if they're doing that, then in these 4v4s, it's only AP threats. All Zach Brom need to do is build some magic resist, and then this Jinx is going to have such an easy time because the only backline access they have is Echo, but they have no real layered CC except for the hostile
Cage,
takeover
hostile
and a
takeover,
Vigar
yeah.
cage, but the hostile takeover, it can get blocked by Braum Shield. And Zach has backline access along with a Cully. You have to mark 2 heavy flanking champions to make sure your Ziggs doesn't get one shot and your Echo's not diving in solo. This comp, what I said before we went into draft, this comp does not reflect that at all. This is not an easy to execute composition at all. Anything that plays off of side lane is hard to execute, whereas PF's comp is super easy to execute. And I trust their mid laner to play the Akali how it has to be played. Now, the Akali makes it a little bit harder because Akali has to play on flanks, and playing on flanks is in itself a very high level skill that players take out. That takes a very long time to develop. But I do, seeing how they played last game in the Ahri, I do trust them to play this fairly well. And this Jinx doesn't have to do anything. They can just stand there and right click with how much beef they have in front of them, and it's just easy engage as well. Braum alt Zac E, Zac alt Ornn E. They just have so much easy engage that just goes forward. And they don't. And again, Bilbo's Book Club have a similar problem they did last game, where they don't have any dedicated front line. So, and they're very one-shottable by Akali, any one of them, especially if she gets ahead, and Jinx as well. Just 2 rockets can kill a Zigzag if they get ahead. So, it's gonna be very difficult comp for them to execute.
I mean, not even just ahead, but I mean, if we take the 2 teams, these 2, like the draft from this game, and we put it in last game, we're gonna see something super similar. Like let's say they play the exact same way. You get Jinx with 3 items, it's kind of over.
Yep.
You put Zac and Ornn with enough tank items, you can't kill them. And then if Suki is able to hit 10 CS a minute before tower, right after tower plates fall, and was at least like, admittedly they were having a bad game because they couldn't do much on the Ahri, but they were still doing stuff with the Ahri. It's just that they weren't in a position, favorable scenarios for the Ahri to carry the fights. That really was the downfall. It wasn't that they couldn't play the champ. It was just more that they were in the wrong spot for the team fight when it inevitably broke out, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, I think it's less so even. Yeah, I think it's less so even that, and more so just the goal difference, right? Like the way that they were playing those fights would have been amazing if they were even, right? Not even ahead, but if gold was even, those fights can look completely differently just with how Suki's playing. Like those charms were hitting amazingly. The layered CC was perfect from the rest of their team as well. They just didn't have the gold to facilitate that pick potential because it just didn't have that damage behind it. But if there was an even game state, then those fights, then I think it's even a stomp the other way going into those team fights just because of how they were played. They were somewhat messy. And I think the other comp just does better in messy team fights. If it goes the same way this time and the gold is even, I definitely trust, if nameplates are off, PF's comp 100% more.
And one thing I was gonna comment is if the game goes to 45 minutes and Vigar's one-shotting everybody, then that's the way they win. But let's do Dragon Souls real quick and go to break so we can kind of like decompress and figure out what's gonna go on. So Darter, since you were wrong first last game, you can go first this time.
Mountain Soul, because that was what it was last
since
game.
we know what the last one was, Darter's gonna go
every week I'm gonna predict the same thing 3 times if it's right in the first game. Whatever's the soul the first game, I'm predicting the rest of the series.
All right, go for it, Hyper. What you got?
I'm gonna go for Ocean this time around.
I actually want this to be a Hextech or Inferno, but I think I'm gonna stick with Hextech to be honest. If I want that.
I bet. But, and with that being said, I'm a little excited for game number 2. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, we're gonna take a short little break, get into the game lobby, get everything situated, and we will see you in a short little minute.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Risen Esports Unstoppable. This is game 2 between PF, Mind Goblin, and Bilbo's Book Club. Right now, it looks like we're going to have a classic 5-point stance coming into this game. Not expecting anything, honestly, actually. They really wanted to. I think Mind Goblin could invade. They're not going to choose to. I think with Braum level 1, they could do it, but looks like we're just going to do our classic. God, I love this aerial view. It's like having a drone fly across Summoner's Rift. This is crazy. I like this. So we were talking a little bit during the break. Is like it seems like for the little bit it's going to be very low damage from both sides. Also, predictions are up in case anyone's wondering. You got like maybe 13 seconds before those are down, so predictions are up.
We go Cull again.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's better in this lane. It's better. I will be fair. It is better in this lane, just because you're expecting it to be a farm fest with Ziggs. So like it's better in this game. I don't wanna just like insta flame. It's better than last game, but both AD carries went Cull last game, and it was bad for both of them.
I do have a problem with taking Cole this time around because of the Ziggs. Like the bomb is gonna hit you over and over. It's just better longsword 3 pods and then just take Cole off first back.
How about that?
Cull is greedy, but it also does give healing on hit. So if you don't get hit by every single Q, you'll still be fine because you have in lane sustain with Cull. I do think like if you're going Cull straight, you kind of have to go either first base refillable or just dodge everything.
Well, he went first strike.
I was looking at the runes, and I have 2 issues right now with the choice of runes. I'm not a fan of Electrocute Echo. I think Dark Harvest in the jungle is better. Again, personal opinion. I don't know about first strike Vigar. I think
it's good. I like it.
I like Execute.
Well, he's against a melee matchup, right? So he can farm it pretty easily. It's generally only bad if in range versus range, like if it's Victor versus Veigar, for example, you can't farm first strike because you're outranged, or it's even range. But against a melee assassin, you can farm first strike pretty regularly, and also since they have 4 melees, you're going to be getting value out of it in fights most of the time because you're almost never going to get hit first unless you get flanked by Zac engage. So it's actually not bad. And first strike is so much damage for Veigar late game if he is even if it's not fed. If we get there, So I actually do like the first strike, but yeah, I think Electrocute on Echo is a little bit interesting. I think potentially Phase Rush or Dark Harvest is better in jungle, especially with Blue Smite. You just have so much movement speed in ganks, and you can just never die.
Electrocute, the E, okay. I very much, and I'm not surprised that Suki went Electrocute on Akali this game. Everybody's squishy. I would have done the same thing. You're pretty much looking to just blow people up. You only really take Conquer in extended fights, but looking at this comp, that's probably not going to end up happening. Looks like Can't Be Bothered was going and checking the top side and getting a ward down, but they do see that the top side is clear, so heads up from Silver Knights to kind of be wary of that one, making sure that no one knows where he is, because at the same time, like, could be bot side, or like, could be getting ready to gank somewhere at the moment. But the 2 junglers are on the same side of the map. I don't think Echo will go bot side here. A lot of health actually on. Oh, this could be actually pretty spicy here at the scuttle if things kind of.
I mean, Silver Knights has a crazy angle.
I mean, he's going to go for a gank rather than going for the scuttle because he's going to come right over the top of the wall with his screen, he says, and the chain CC to follow up. The satchel charge is not enough to get him out. The bailout is still going to fall down. First blood going right over to the Zac. He's got double buffs. Rusty Crow falls.
Man.
And guess who's excited? Yes, you guessed it, Jinx, but she doesn't find a kill in the end.
Yeah, the cleanse on the slow from Echo Q is actually so good there. Most ADCs just won't cleanse that slow. So I actually do like that they cleanse it there.
I like that, yeah.
Because they die if they don't cleanse that, because Echo is in heat range.
I also just realized he didn't get the scuttle at the end of that play either, so this will be a free scuttle going over to Silver Knights.
Jinx got the kill onto the jungler. She's got the double buffs, but Can't Be Bothered being chased down by Ornn. A nice hook shot to get out of that.
Is he a prescriber to the macro Ornn document? Let me open it.
The macro Ornn document.
I've heard of this.
I'm opening the macro Ornn document, and I will keep track of his build and see if he's following it.
That's actually hilarious. I think that's pretty funny. It's really interesting, like how like into whoa, and Akali's
spooky. But a flash from Banana Source keeps him alive. Direct to camera. Not wanting us to watch that one there. But yeah, it looks like they could dive this if they wanted to.
If the E is up, yes, but no flash. I wouldn't go for this. If this was old Akali where you're shrouded under tower, then 100% you go for it. But you just don't do that anymore, especially having blown the flash earlier. But Homeboy's looking for it still. Echo is
Bananasaur staying in lane a little bit longer than he needs to. A cage to keep Suki in a spot.
That cage was early.
But that
I
convergence
think
isn't gonna
Suki
be
could have
able to
actually
keep him.
dove Veigar there. I know it's super risky, but he has 6 to Bananasaur's no 6, no mana
No
either.
cage.
So I think after cage he could have potentially gone for the dive. I
Looking
think
going
at
for
worst.
it.
Shuriken is
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to hit.
No, he
Stops
thought
the
so
attack,
too.
though.
Okay. I was like, he can dive this.
mean,
It's super risky though.
Yeah, he's kind of baiting it now.
He knows that Echo is here.
Telegraphing it so hard too. But one of the war boys from they're gonna see Rusty Crow right there.
it
He's
landed.
gonna dive on in, really good airborne. and
Oh
good
my
block.
God, good ult.
That convergence
Oh
is
my
not
God,
gonna
that
give
was
him the
clean.
shield that he needed in the time that he needed because he was perfectly executed.
That
That-
was actually crazy.
Oh, those are the Akali plays I love to see. That's the stuff that I love to do on this champion.
Oh my god, wait, this guy's actually cracked at this
I'm
champ.
gonna dive him.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna dive him. Here it comes. That baby.
Oh,
cage
no,
is
he
gonna
ate him
keep
to the
you
cage,
alive
it doesn't
for
matter.
Only a little bit. Zach unfortunately
passive.
dies
Oh my
under
God.
turret, but he is
my
not
God, that was
targeted for
unreal.
some ungod reason. But
Wait,
he
he
does
still
pick up the
died?
kill in the end. I like it.
How did he? What?
How did he... Okay, so hold on, I'm gonna.
Ooh, top laner's duking it out. Can't be bothered. Is gonna grab one and push that wave in. Probably get a
Not
tower
the
while he's
Orn
at it.
ultimate.
Trying to figure out how he still died because tower was aggroed on minions there.
I think the wave died before
Yeah.
he got back up.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, that's something I'll have to take a look at.
It's
But
the
that was
only way
that.
he would have died there, I think.
Suki doing exactly what I was expecting on this champion. Got
Dude,
the
oh
heart
my
treads.
God,
Looks
yeah.
like going for the rocket belt first. That is
Or,
bold.
I think
actually
that's a
like
Night
that in this
Harvester
game.
too, right?
It could be night. Well, Night Harvester would be worse than Rocket Belt. They should
No,
be
I
Rocket
wouldn't
Belt.
go Night Harvester. Again.
I mean, Akali is their most played champ.
Mhm.
Both this season, last season, and prior seasons. So it's just this season and last season they played mostly Victor the season before that. But they had a 60% win rate on Akali in 50 games last season. And they've lost, I think,
Diving
2
this kid
Akali
again.
games this season, so...
Again, the baby cage is going to keep Suki held down
Just
for a little
waiting the
bit, but he's going to
cage.
get
Yep,
booted
he's
up,
dead.
perfectly executed. The shuriken flip, and that second charge coming right out. Suki puts another one back in the bag. He's thrilled.
He went Merc Treads first as well, it's so good.
Yeah, I feel like we're having a repeat of last week when we saw a Veigar die 3 times in the first 10 minutes of the game. And it's just, that's what you do when the champion doesn't have flash. If flash is down and cage is down, that's a free real estate for a gank. This first Drake will be secured as well, going over to Mind Goblin, the Infernal Drake. So far none of us are wrong, Twitch champs.
After further inspection, he's not a prescriber to the macro Orn document. He
All right.
started Corrupting Pot.
Oh, did he?
Should have been Dorn Shield him
Oh, I
this
got
game.
you. But I think Slippery Jalapeno is dead here. Has to flash away, and he's out. He's out for the count. In the meantime, that Drake was secured. Looks like it's going to be an Ocean Drake next, unless the icon is potentially wrong, which we know sometimes it is from the other 2 Drakes. I hope they fix that for next season. It looks like we're here for the mid lane once again. Okay, so it is an Ocean, and here we go again. Flash is almost up, but I think they got it just in time if they go for it about
No
now.
perfect execution, though.
Okay. I almost don't feel like they'll need
I
it.
think that's
Okay.
what that ability is called. I could be wrong.
Yeah, perfect execution.
Okay. I played a lot of that champ before rework, so I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but I thought it was. Okay, we're good.
I will admit,
This
one
should be
thing
Herald secured.
Yeah. One thing I do kind of miss about... Oh, he's actually backing off. He knows. Slippy Jalapeno knows. So this will be the Herald drop, most likely on the top side. Yep. Okay, so that will be 2 free plates going over to the Camille. She does have Demolish as well.
They can one-shot tower with it. They've seen.
Wow. Yeah, I think they just take tower now.
This tower is not dead.
It's got too much armor.
Well, yeah, but also...
No, it's a Camille. It's a Camille machine. This tower is dead.
This tower is
Okay.
long gone, and Ornn doesn't have TP, so they will concede this tower. This will be first tower. Meanwhile, in the bot side, Zach is engaging. Oh my goodness, that was...
Things are coming down. He's looking for it.
Good. 2 and something coming out of Brock.
Rocket.
That hostile takeover blocked instantly, and that Ziggs bomb right there on the tower. A little bit extra damage. They managed to save themselves from that gank, but like you said, Darter, while we were talking about draft with the hostile takeover, just being able to block that, I mean, we saw it right there.
Yep.
Yeah, Jinx
That's
also
why we-
wasn't.
that's why we
Oh
picked
no,
I mean, they're
Goblin
coming
not
to
instead.
dive
side.
the bot lane again. I mean,
Oh,
Ziggs
it's
is so far
it's
really
just double
low.
kill
He's going to
for
use that
Akali. At
satchel
least
to
it's
try to get a little bit of extra distance,
Yeah.
but that Shuriken flip into the Shroud just kind of sends him right to the gray screen.
Yep.
But this Renato is just
Rom's
stuck
dead.
under
No,
tower
he's not.
with 4
Okay, close,
people
close.
bodied them.
Guys,
I mean,
tower range.
I don't know about this one.
Super sus.
I mean, they had a
They're
way to
feeling
do
themselves
it.
a little bit. To be
They-
fair, if Exhaust was down, Suki actually does kill Calico there. But Venusaur getting 2 plates here in the mid lane, so evening up the gold a little bit. Won't be completely
actually,
even.
going
2
in
blasting
head.
ones, that has to be a misclick.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Okay, they refunded it. I was like, that has to be a misclick.
Okay. All right, never mind. So, I mean, if we're just speed running for, oh, never mind. Ziggs is dead here. What?
No, he's not.
No,
Okay.
nice
Okay.
extra.
No,
to get
he's
out of there,
dead.
But that flash and that
Here's
charge in
Camille.
from that Zac is just going to lock in that Ziggs to not even send him to the gray screen.
Wait,
His
he
health bar
lived.
is so alive for some reason. Hextech Ultimatum jumps right onto the Zac and a kill going over to Can't Be Bothered. He gets a double kill. And for some reason, Ziggs lives to satchel another day.
You know, I did call it. I did say he was okay.
I mean, I don't know how he lived there. I mean,
Calculated from birth. That's how.
Jinx
But this
got
Camille is
Kraken Slayer.
ungodly levels of fed.
Wow, and Can't Be Bothered takes 2 plates and a double kill on top of that?
Also
His
having
Camille
first
is
tower
very
gold.
fun.
Oh, look, 2,000 gold up, almost like last
Yeah.
game. Imagine that.
I'm not surprised, honestly. I mean, it's a favorable matchup. Gets a good CP play bot. Gets full tower top with Herald. Gets another
It's a great
solo play
CP
bot. Yeah, so much gold.
Oh, I see what Suki's
I see
cooking
you,
there.
Suki. I see
Yeah,
you.
he's cooking. Oh, the movement.
That was disgusting.
This guy's a little bit good at League of Legends.
Just a little. Suki, I'm gonna take lessons from you how to play Akali after this, apparently, because I don't know what I'm doing. I guess. Never mind the 8 or 9. Never mind the 8 or 9 pentakills I've gotten with her this season.
I have some resources. I know a 350 LP Masters Akali one trick.
I
Oh
mean,
my God, dude, Kosher right there getting going for that plate.
yeah, I was about to say, like, what are you doing there, bud? But I mean, interestingly, so it's gonna be Crown for the Shattered Queen coming through. Oh, this could be the 1v1 of the century.
Oh,
right, never mind.
I like.
I
how
was
he
actually
holds it.
hoping for it. I was hoping for it. No
I
Hextech
love
ultimatum,
how
so he
he
won't
holds
go in.
I think
But,
even with that, I think. Well, okay, hold on. Your Shroud was down, so I think
Yeah.
without Shroud, Suki probably loses that. But it would have been
Yeah.
so cool to see the both of them 1v1.
Yeah,
I'm
he has a
kind
rocket
of feeling
build
it. All right, Orin. All right, Orin. All right, Orin.
I'm excited
You're
to
up too
watch
far.
it. I'm not excited
gets
to
these.
cast it. I'm gonna be real.
Orin is up
I'm
too
not
far.
gonna know what to
now.
say.
Yeah, he's a little dead here.
Wow, Max Rain hookshot finds the wall and then finds Jalapeno with the stone.
Holy
He's just
damage,
unstoppable,
Batman.
But the damage coming
That's
out from
fair.
Can't Be Bothered is just so massive right now. Chase him into the brush, the flash to get out, but a nice slow coming out. And I just hookshot to walk it away. I like it.
Why are you flashing there?
Yeah,
Picking
he's just
up a
100%
1v1
dead. He
right
can't
there
fly.
in the
You
top
can't be
lane.
flashing those. You just have to accept it.
Oh
You can't be
yeah.
flashing those.
I think you're right though. I think they're kind of feeling themselves right
No
now. At the
Brom
moment.
shield could be a.
Oh my God, that's some
getting
damage.
Here to the Drake.
Yeah, for
Suki's just
Akali
gonna
and
jump
all of
on a Calico right here. Ziggs manages to take out the Jinx.
Oh, she lives.
Exhaust,
Fortunately enough,
exhaust.
but now Suki is pushing away from the rest of the team, and Bilbo's Book Club managed to fight their way back
They
into
can
the Drake
still
pit.
take this.
TP coming out from Orin, and here
Oh my
comes
God, he got
Zac.
it.
He's gonna be able to
Thank
smite it
God,
away.
bro.
Here comes Call the Forge God. It's gonna go. It's gonna nail the.
The E buffer.
Oh, the Vigard! I could not think of who that champ was. Rusty Crow stuck in the
puzzle.
Dragon Pit. He's gonna get chased down by Suki. He might be able to get out and get executed. But meanwhile, in the
Oh my
top
God, there's a
side of
rocket.
the map,
You know where he is.
Boys, Camille just takes the tier 2 top tower and is looking to go a little bit more. Hextech ultimatum onto Kosher and just annihilates him off the rift.
Well, my Jinx
And
is
he
getting
lived.
one shot, but it's a little unfortunate. I don't know if you saw that, but did you see Suki E buffer the hostile takeover?
Oh yeah, that was correct. That was absolutely correct. Oh my God.
He E buffered it. Yeah, he
Buffered
shuriken
it.
tossed. He shuriken tossed to get himself distance and then recast it before it hit him.
Oh, that's so clean.
I told you this dude's nuts. Especially we did say this is his most played champion, so this shouldn't
Yeah.
be a surprise. But it's always so nice to see someone who like excels with assassins because they know the little like ins and outs of how to play those champions. And that dragon fight was actually very unfortunate. I think if Camille's there, they get wiped. So
Yes,
I think it's the instance you mentioned in the last game of them not fighting where the gold is, which is just
But
super unlucky.
I do like what Can't Be Bothered did. Instead of rotating over to that fight, he stayed in the top side and put a lot of pressure on the map on the opposite side.
Yeah, this is where they need to play, like I said, in between games with Can't Be Bothered one tempo ahead of the rest of the team. So that they're, because
that's the only way they can take him out at the moment.
Yeah, they have to play with Can't Be Bothered one tempo ahead on side and play 4-man on a single lane. So either top to mid or bot to mid. I think Can't Be Bothered should go bot now, though. This Herald should be pretty easily secured. Rusty Crow looking to be a little bit fancy. Can't Be Bothered taking the mid tower as well.
Yeah, and then the rest of the team is going to follow up, and they do get
they
the
stole
stun, but
nice.
they managed to not get the Herald. The Eye still sitting right there. They find their target.
Neil's not here, and their team's just
not here. Shutdown going right over to the Jinx. She is excited. Rusty Crow gets that a little bit of a sidestep over, but I like what Can't Be Bothered. I can't be bothered to go and join your Herald fight. I'm going to run this mid lane into the inhibitor turrets and make a little rotation over to this Ornn. I'm going to rejoin my Vigar, and I'm going to take this tier 1 as well. Looking up for a really good dive, but they do manage to take... he's just gone. Yeah, he's just gone.
Oh, wait, Suki gets a bad shutdown.
But that perfect execution followed by that Hextech ultimatum manages to take out the Camille, and that's an 800 gold shutdown.
Really well
timed.
Bilbo's
Book Club, that is not who you want to have that.
That was a really well-timed Hextech ultimatum, actually, to dodge the perfect execution damage.
But also to follow the champion as well. Rusty Crow blowing up this Jinx.
Why are we still mid?
Yeah, we have no turrets there, friends. But best support in A is just best kiter of all time because he's just gonna walk him into the inhibitor turret and
he's healing from the damage. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a little bit overextended there mid, but Suki will grab the bot lane tier 1 as a consequence. But I said it under my breath a little bit, but I hate playing against top laners that play like Can't Be Bothered. It's very annoying. Just taking every single tower on the map and just ignoring you completely. However, the 800 gold shutdown going over to Suki is pretty big. He's on his reset now. Should have at least a rod on his base. 2.2k.
Get jumped, but the rest of his team is here to bail him out. You like what I did there? Bail him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm having thoughts.
All right, what you got?
I want to, because I do think a little bit maybe Can't Be Bothered should join at least one of these fights. Sure, getting the pressure is nice, but his whole team basically got wiped after that Herald fight.
Ignoring the Herald fight, I am all for. I'm all for ignoring that.
I think he honestly is playing how he should in this game.
Because I mean, we take what they took.
So hard.
Ignoring the Herald fight, he takes 3 turrets and gets a kill at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that is a huge amount of pressure plus a really good trade, and like they win in that trade.
Only issue is there's only one easy objective left, and that's bot lane tier 2.
Yeah.
Bot lane tier 2 tower is the last easy objective for him to get on side. And for him to play one tempo ahead, he has to be playing so far forward, and his team has to be playing just behind him. So it's really hard for him to play that deep on the map, but he's doing it anyways here.
Yeah,
here comes Akali.
3 levels ahead of him.
This is why it's hard, because he can't get anything this deep because his team is so far back on tempo. He has to wait for them to be able to actually apply proper pressure.
I mean, right now, just being...
Jinx is dead. Jinx is dead. Jinx is dead.
Yeah.
Jinx
actually gets out of that one. A really good Braum ultimate, but that rewind is going to save Rusty Crow in his tracks. That conversion is going to be able to slow them up. They do get out of the blast plant, but
oh my god!
Out of their perfect execution not to get hit by that baby cage. Called for God, hit the backline up, and that hostile takeover manages.
Meanwhile, the base.
I do like the fact that look at Can't Be Bothered. Can't be bothered with a Drake fight.
Yeah,
I am going to take your base. And
Zig the backs.
Trying to stop the backs. They are going to go for the inhibitor. The rest of the team for the side of Mind Goblins are still trying to stick to this Drake and try to secure this soul point, but Rusty Crow is available and he does have his smite. I don't know if he's going to be able to secure it. He does not. They do manage to take the inhibitor and Can't Be Bothered. Puts his team on his back in terms of staying in the game.
All right, that's the exception where I will say very good heads-up play.
Yeah.
You open up the base, and I mean, yeah, you open up the base. I mean, that's the best outcome you can get for it. Now, unfortunately, it is 19 minutes, and we talked about this last week where now you're just giving away free extra gold. Now, this might turn into Baron pressure by the looks of it. It looks like
that's
trying.
where
Can't be bothered. Should go bot lane
It's on
now.
the same side of the map, unfortunately. If he opened the base up on bot side, then that's huge amounts of Baron pressure.
Well, now opening top inhib was good there, obviously because he's opposite objective, which was great.
Yeah.
Now he should go bot lane here and play with his TP.
And that's what he's doing. Yep.
Perfect.
You hit the nail right on the nose. This Jinx, unfortunately, is not as far ahead as we'd like to see her at this point in the game.
She needs to stop face checking in jungle.
Yeah, it's right before that last fight started, I saw her walking into 3 red icons. I'm like,
dude. The bush. Yeah, you have to let your Braum walk in first, right? Like that's what he's there for. It's when you have 3 tanks, you have to let them walk in first, especially when there's just a one-shot threat with Echo and Veigar in the game. You just can't be face checking anything because they're going to be looking for flanks and looking for you to be face checking. So you just have to be extra careful.
They have no vision on bot side of the map either, as I'm just
Are they going to find a pick onto the... No, jungle, because Suki's right
he's beefy. They're not going to kill him. He has Abyssal Mass, so they're not really going to melt through his health bar.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, but Ornn, on the other hand, is not doing so hot against this Camille.
He can get dove. This is about how we expect this matchup to go, by the way. Camille is an insane
I do like what Can't Be Bothered is doing right there, kind of waiting for his cooldowns and waiting for the wave before she walks up and hits the turret like that. He's going to get airborne with that charge, but a lot of damage coming out. Call the Forge God is not going to hit. A really good flash. Rocket Belt burned by Suki right before there. Blue Trinket spots Suki on the flank, so Camille's just going to back on out of that one. And it does give, Bilbo's Book Club free pressure or free river control of the Baron to set up vision.
My first thought would have been, turn and do the Baron while they're sending their strongest member to go for it, but at the same, he's back. He's back. All right.
Yeah, I'm here to take you. Uses the terrain from the Ornn Q.
Is Veigar dude?
To get the hook shot.
This is the problem with the difference between top lane matchups last game to this game. When you're playing tank versus carry instead of carry versus carry, it's so much harder to match inside when you're playing tank versus carry, and you want to be there in team fights.
Hook shot to go under turret. Hexagon him to lock him in, gets the kill, but unfortunately Suki is here to clean that one up. And guess what? He has got a like on the Rift right now. But
that ERQ is so clean.
Yeah, good lord. Oh, wait, now Veigar's dead.
Veigar gonna get jumped on by the Zac, puts him in that baby cage. A really nice ultimate coming from the Braum, but a really nice banana. That one's health bar still intact. Rusty Pro on a really
Wait, why does Jinx have Merc Treads?
AP.
Oh.
Doesn't want to get blown up.
I mean, cool, but kind of cucking her passive.
You need
wow, hello.
Jutsu boots.
You're kind of like screwing her passive a little bit by doing that.
There's only one ADC who's allowed to build defensive boots that I play a lot of, and that's Samira.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say Samira. Arguably on Jhin too, but like.
Yeah, Jhin, right? Like he usually builds 50s and there's some ADCs that build cooldown boots, but like on hyper carry attack speed ADCs, you cannot build defensive boots.
No.
You're just gimping your offensive power, especially in a comp like this where you're half of your team's damage. You need to just build to just do as much damage as possible.
They can't clear that one ward. I find that hilarious.
So I wonder if this is going to be a pivot towards Phantom Dancer third on the Jinx as kind of like catch up with that.
I like Phantom Dancer in this game because of all the mobility. I wouldn't go it here so far behind.
Yeah, I mean, actually, if she didn't have Merc Treads, I would say Shield Bow, but
yeah, I'm with you on that one. Suki
Can't Be Bothered. Every time he steps up into this bot lane, Suki's here on the rotation. Hextech ultimatum is going to land, and he's coming out from the Ziggs and the Veigar simultaneously. Banana Sword and the Ziggs are just going to try to battle the A, the most
nutty sidestepping, bro,
and be the most tanky person. Satchel get himself out of there. Rusty Pro finds the stun onto the Ornn.
Whoa.
Great job. Ziggs manages to pick up the kill onto the Jinx, but here comes Zac. Witness me, team. Witness me dive in, hit the roof, and chain CC. But Adasaur, unfortunately, has gotten exhausted, and they are going to be able to stun him up and take him out. He probably doesn't gonna be able to live with this one, even with the hostile takeover.
So Cloud Soul that's going to be available to them after this play. Now, Camille could do something sweaty and TP into base
yeah.
right now.
TP to the
so-
I mean, she's
minion.
up. She's
Yeah,
she
there she
does.
goes.
She's gonna instantly TP into the base.
Back. Suki has to reset. He's actually so
Somebody
late.
has to reset.
Look at where Rusty Crow is. He's still in the
So
pit.
late.
Oh
he
my
did
god!
you walk
Oh
up?
my
He's
god!
fine.
Oh my god!
He's gonna get rooted up, slowed up as well. Suki has TP back in the fight and is gonna take out the Camille. She is legendary. Meanwhile, Rusty Crow only has to deal with 2 tanky members now. He deals damage, they do not. 5,000 HP on the Drake at the moment. They're taking this one really slow. Suki is making his way, but Ziggs is gonna be able to get here first. The Satchel don't know what it's doing right there, but he is still a nuisance. Jumping on,
Jinx
doesn't
Rocket?
hit. Rocket going through. Rusty Crow picks up the Braum, and they might
It's
take
just a
the
cloud.
break as well.
Oh, the team's here. Never mind. This is gonna get dicey now with everyone being here. Your strongest member's not up. I think they just lose
But the
this.
rest of Book Club is here, 1,600 HP, but Zach manages to cure it. They get
Jinx
Cloud,
isn't
so
here.
that is a lot of cooldowns.
never mind, it doesn't
that are gonna be
matter.
coming up left and right. Call the Forge Gun's
Oh
gonna
my
hit.
God,
Suki
that damage.
finds the Calico bailout.
Good
down the
God.
court.
Dude, this guy.
Give this man.
It's just what the hell?
If he gets
Oh my
one more
God.
kill, I called it. I said I trust him to go 13-0 in this game.
He has Cloud Soul too, and I mean, extra
I
movement.
mean,
speed,
he
will
has
catch
it
him
right
in a
here.
second.
Unfortunately, Rusty Crow won't live this one.
Yeah. I think you just take the L and kind of just yoink. All right, you're right, 13-0, and they're gonna beeline
Dude.
into the Baron right now. Suki might actually still can't be bothered here. Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way. I mean, the ultimate comes up
This
probably in
guy
the
is
middle of the
unreal.
fight, but he's just so good.
I mean, if Bilbo's Book Club has a chance to get back in the game, it's right here because their most fed member is not even close to the Baron. Can't be bothered is going to hold them right there in that bot lane. But I don't know if Bananasaur can steal this one away because Silver Spikes' smites have just been insane right now.
Level 17 to level 15 between can't be bothered and Suki.
Oh, I
right
just realized the level difference.
Oh yeah, there's never mind. Akali having level 3 ultimate? No. There's no way. You don't win that.
Yeah, no shots. If this Akali 2k gold on base.
Oh
He has
my
death
god,
cap
look
on-
at
he
the
has death
gold
cap if he
gap.
wants
It's
it.
almost 6,000.
Does he have death cap?
He should. Yep, he
Yeah.
does.
Oh my god, and upgraded proto belt. Oh, this guy's
Oh.
one-shotting their whole team. Okay, I'll say this now. If Suki loses this game, I'm gonna be so tilted for him.
I don't blame him. It's just
This guy's playing out of his mind.
this is like one of the equivalent of like where you just kind of sit back and get carried. To be honest with you, I will
Just-
admit.
It's
had some
a
decent-
good feeling sometimes to just sit back and get carried.
They had some good team fights, like I will admit, but just Suki, just the movements this guy has been making on this champion is everything you hope for in a
Unreal,
Akali
man.
player. Oh my god. I'm kind of jealous I'm not this good on Akali now. I'm a little
I'm
upset.
jealous I'm not this good in general.
Also fair.
He really just said, Ben Lysandre, I'll pick this champ.
Yeah, honestly. I think it honestly would have been this way. Actually, this game would have been harder. Oh, they're going to dive this.
Yep,
They
they
can
are
just
going to
dive
dive
this
it. I mean, they
down.
take the turret for free. They got the Baron.
Echo has a crazy
Minions,
flank on
but
the
that
Divers
satchel charge just not going to put him in the
He's
right
so
spot.
dead.
High fall takeover
Holy
is going to hit
crap.
one, but that Braum shield doing enough work to stop the rest of his team getting smacked. But the top laner is just going to eat a
know
lot
he's
of
there.
that damage.
Oh, the 1v1 of the century.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to 1v1 right there in the blue side jungle.
Yeah, he
But
knows
that
he
hook
loses.
shot to keep him alive and safe. Don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this one.
Oh my God,
Rocket
no.
Almost
One
annihilate.
minute.
Can't be bothered. He's going to perfect execution, get right in. Going to look for a tower dive, but that Hex Tech ultimatum puts him
Nice.
in his place. Really nice Zonius
Nice.
to keep him out of
He's dead.
damage.
He's him.
But he is going to unfortunately
No!
die.
Oh.
Going right over to the Vanguard, gonna pick up a 1K shutdown, but I don't think it matters because this looked like the game is over. The rest of the team has
Yeah.
spawned, a really good baby cage, gonna
Okay.
stop 3 members, Rusty
Echo?
Crow jumps
Nope.
onto the back line, but the back line says no. And
They
they,
can't end, I
have
don't
no
think.
more ways.
They can't
They actually end
they
on this
can't.
way. They have to in the next like 20
Ooh.
seconds or Camille
Look at
backdoors.
the base.
Yeah, I was
Look
gonna
at
say
their
they
base.
have to.
Look at
They,
their
yeah,
base.
they
Look
have
at
to.
their
They have
base
to
real
reset. They
fast.
have to reset. Have to reset.
Okay. Oh man, so lucky for them, they don't lose off this.
Look
So
at what Camille's pressure has done.
yeah,
And Nexus turret has now fallen.
Go bot 2-2. Okay.
I just 15-1 and still a 700 bounty, gold bounty.
Unreal. Yeah. I mean, if you're, I think, I forget what the threshold is for you to have like 2 1K shutdowns back to back. I was 12-0-2 in a game yesterday and I had 2 1K shutdowns back to back.
I don't remember what the threshold is.
I'm not 100% sure like what it is exactly, but yeah,
One before your first death feels like a pretty good.
yeah, I think it's around 10 kills is when you can is if you die you'll still have a 1K bounty on your head. I think it's roughly around there.
Either way, the bounty system is broke. Oh, we're fighting
Can't
here.
be bothered. Gonna get jumped on, but a really good hook shot to get himself out of that one.
Me as well.
But look at the rest of the team. A TP into that ward that was positioned into the Raptor pit.
I also want to say a good. I also want to say a good heads up play by Mind Goblin to set the top wave to push, so that way that pressure that Camille had from earlier is no longer relevant.
Yep.
And it's just that's exactly what they needed to do the second the inhibitor came up, and I'm really proud of them for doing that. And just at this point, it's like they can just kind of do whatever they want on the map. It's just break the top tier 2. Yep, boom.
I feel like you're gonna go for this top inhibitor and then take Elder Drake on your way out.
Almost crazy.
I was gonna get hit by that guy from the Zac, but a really good engage nonetheless. Called the Forge God in a lot of ultimate's gonna get layered CC out. Just keep your eyes on Suki because he annihilates one person. Then he goes golden, can't be bothered, is just stuck under his turret, trying to deal damage and trying to stay alive. Triple kill going over to Suki. Oh Lord, 2 members are still alive. He has still got his penta. He can still feel it in the air. I know I can, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if he gets it here, though, to be fair. They're going to play so far back because they don't want to get deleted by this
psychology.
They also
it's timed out.
And they could also wait for this wave to threaten the end. I think you threaten it.
10 seconds on Elder. I think they just go for this.
Yeah, Suki's going to TP back.
Suki has Banshees on base, so he can just TP back. Oh my god, dude, this guy's out of his mind. Can we tell my Jinx to sell Mark Chuds, though, please?
I'm right there with you. Oh, they're gonna bait this Echo in, aren't they? There's no wards for the TP. There's that one by the blue, but other than that,
TP.
So I think the play here is
here we go. The Crow trying to find something hits the rewind.
Oh no, the second he gets onto him.
Started it.
Yeah.
And
he's slow.
I don't know if he's gonna be able to get back. I mean, they're taking this objective so slow. Kosher finally showing back up there. Really
he's gonna
fast.
Drop a 20 bomb in this game.
You think
I kind of hope so.
He will.
Yeah.
I mean, if they fight one more time, he just needs 2 kills.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do that, and they have Elder. So honestly, if we don't get a penta in this last fight, just
all right, Suki, here he comes.
The zap lands as well. That guy's so dead.
He sees blood in the water. Says, "Nah, I got better things to do, like kill the rest of your team."
Oh, they're just going for end. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, they don't even need the pressure.
Finds the board and annihilated. Suki is a rampage right now. Can't be bothered. Gets hits with that rocket. But dang, look at the damage coming out from Zonius.
Nope.
Okay, shut down. Going over to Can't Be Bothered.
He didn't have it.
I do not know if he can be bothered to save his game because the rest of the team still has Elder, and they have taken your inhibitor. Wow, the Nexus turn, and they're just gonna die. Elder Drake so strong. And you all called it. 3 members of my team called it. 2-0 going over to the Mind Goblins. Please give me that.
Dude, this guy is unbelievably 1v9.
Give me that post-game chart, please, Chippy.
This guy is absolutely 1v9. Yeah.
Oh my god, 33,000 damage.
Wow.
And that last kill was that first kill in that last fight was a one shot.
Look at the gold real fast.
Unreal.
18k gold.
I mean, Can't Be Bothered played really well. It just like you just can't 1v1 on a Kali.
And he even went Athamas Chains.
Yeah, he had Anathemas on him. He had Mercs. He had a Hex Drinker. Didn't matter.
He had the tools that he needed to try to stay alive from the burst that Suki was doing, but it wow. This gold ref is completely different from last games. You know, we have more of a roller coaster in this point, you know, dipping down into the subway and then coming back up into the skyscrapers, but wow. Blue side putting on a really good performance early game, and I do like the fact that Book Club was in that mid game, you know, able to not only bring them down a notch, but to pull ahead and create a lead But when you're creating a lead through side lane pressure, turret takes, and ignoring the like Herald, for example, or ignoring team fights, like it's just like you can't do that. And ultimately, you have a 15-0 Akali in your game. You can't just not ignore that.
Yeah, you can't ignore that. I mean, like
Our producer went ahead and asked us who we want to interview. I'm gonna say this. It's kind of
Suki.
who we want to
Yeah.
talk to at this point.
yeah, I said it before game 2 in our intermission. If game 2 goes like game 1 does and they end up winning, I do want to talk to the mid laner. So especially after that game, I think we just have to. That guy played out of his mind.
Yeah,
I mean,
and also real quick, so welcome everybody from Risen Esports 2. Our series just ended, so hi.
Welcome to
2-0
the
in favor of
the
the
series
Suki
wrap up.
show.
Welcome to the series wrap up interview
Guys,
with best mid laner
mental.
NA, and then we're gonna transition you guys to a different stream afterwards.
Guys, mental.
Oh my
So,
lord!
Yeah, if we could bring Suki in here.
He's playing in this elo, yeah. Like what?
Let me hold on a second.
I can move him
Unreal,
up.
man. Unreal.
Yeah.
Just me.
All right.
Yeah, just
Welcome
you.
to the analyst desk, Suki here
Where'd
at
DBZ go?
Unstoppable. I don't know where DBZ
Oh, he's
is.
back.
But welcome here. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. What the hell?
It's mental, man.
Yeah,
Dude.
Crazy game.
I
You're
thought I was gonna go
styling.
into a million cages, but they just kept blowing
Yeah.
up my jinx and letting me go free.
Yeah, well, you're
Bro.
no flame, but your jinx was face checking
Yeah.
unwarded jungle. But
Oh, that was a shot call. We are like, go face check that jinx. Let me in there.
yeah, okay.
You are
Did you
actually
tell them
like
to
it.
sell Merc Treads for Berserker Creeps at all?
No, he said he was gonna do some spicy tech and he was gonna cook with Merc Treads, and we
Well,
just
he
moved
didn't
on.
not
cook,
cooking.
unfortunately.
There
Get
was
him out the
not
kitchen.
cooking.
cooking right there.
Yeah, get him out of the
That's
kitchen.
that's
Get
my
him out of there.
captain, dude. Come on.
Get him out of there.
Get him out of the kitchen.
Get him
All
out of
right,
there.
let's go ahead.
I was say go AP jinx, and you know what? I don't think the game would
True.
have
Full
been the same
lethality jinx.
outcome.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right,
you were
all right.
playing out of your mind.
I'm gonna go first. Okay, so because I know these guys are gonna talk about that Akali game. So I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna talk about that Ari game. Even still playing out of your mind that game, just unfortunately the only fed person on your team in really game 1 and game 2, but game 1 specifically kind of hurt a little bit more just because of the team fights and the way they were playing out. Like, how did it feel knowing that you could ace their entire team but just weren't in a position to do it?
Well, we were pretty behind, so once we were about to lose the third Drake, our jinx was like, you know what? Just go for the Baron. They're not gonna do it. I promise. They're not gonna know. And then from that point on, they just like, I'm not sure what happened to the game, but the gold graph flipped upside down.
I mean, it wasn't even that. Your jungler just forgot to hit smite, and the support was picking him up all of the objectives.
Oh yeah, you also stole the Mountain Drake too. Like we were like going
support
soul.
got 2 objectives. Yeah.
Insane. And that actually answers my question, because I was going to ask who made that shot calling for that Baron in game 1. You answered my question.
Really good call.
So yeah, it was actually absolutely good call. And I just have to ask, like, I actually have to more praise like the mental fortitude that you guys had in that first game, being down 6k gold pretty much like the entirety of the game, and then flipping it back off of 2 really good fights from your end. It's got to be really impressive. So like, what were the comms like at the end of that first game?
Pretty much pure chaos. I mean, we were kind of confused at the very end that we won the game, but at the same time, I mean, our whole team's pretty confident in their abilities, and they just said we're gonna win every single fight. Even if we lose the fights, we just somehow still like we think we're gonna win. It might be, it's pretty coin flippy, and it might punish us in like later games, but I believe in them.
I like that.
Darter, what do you got, my man?
I do want to ask about that last game that you just played, because you had like 45% of your team's gold, or like 40% of your team's gold, something crazy like that. And I noticed that like if you weren't there, those fights were very close, if not favored for the enemy team. So and you had a lot of things that you were trying to do, both protect side lanes, that Camille was insanely fed, creating a lot of pressure. How did you go about carrying that game in that fashion?
Well, I was worried about the Camille pick at the very start. We banned it the first game, and I pulled out the second game. But we were just like, we're gonna try to trick the Camille into like face rolling Ornn, because he kept doing that. I kept thinking Ornn was a free kill, so I would just wait for Camille to do it twice, and I think we got him maybe 3 or 2 times on his split push. And from there, like we just put out Baron and won the game.
Yeah.
Okay, basically, Camille would only go forward and we knew that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of going forward, I mean, how was your guys' reaction to just the I cannot be bothered to play and interact with the other team except to just try to blow them
Just
up,
slap towers, yeah.
and then just kind of start taking your base apart little by little with the top lane push, and then while y'all are taking Herald, then the mid lane push.
And we were sweating because we thought we were winning the game. Like
Yeah.
I was really fed, and I realized like our Nexus was like in danger pretty much. And I mean, at that point, we were just like, it's kind of hard to actually figure out what's going on. So we were really just calling for just do the objectives. I mean, it's if they enter a game with a Ziggs bomb, then I guess game 3. But I don't even think Ziggs actually walked into the base at all. So I'm assuming their team was just scared, and we kind of just had to, we just had more balls than them, right? More balls than the BBC.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Oh! Intimidation
Nice.
roll crit 20.
Yep. Definitely that. So you were banking on definitely a lot of good shot calling from your captain, as you mentioned, and pretty much like having I will honestly say a good mental edge coming through. So just kind of having that high little bit of a check to kind of be like, like, all right, this is what we can make from here. But I kind of want to transition that now into who you're playing next week. It looks like you're playing Dragoons next week for your next match. And I want to ask how confident you are coming into that game, and then how you're feeling about the rest of the split from here. Because we're week 5 now, so we have 2 weeks left after this, and then playoffs.
I'm not really too worried about the Dragoons. I'm worried about the week after that because they're like the undefeated team, and that team ended up beating the Dragoons the week before. So I looked at the roster, and it's probably just gonna be in there 2-0, and then we just go next week.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah. That's gonna be an exciting game, especially if you both come in undefeated. That's gonna be awesome. But looking ahead, makes a lot of sense to that team as KekW and Poggerud are very strong. They kind of caught us off guard a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but it just makes sense with the way that they play. That like you guys are kind of weary and watching what they do and then learning what they do. But I think with like the overall decision making that you guys have, it's gonna be an exciting series. And depending on our streams and stuff, I kind of hope we can get either that game or the Dorado series that one. So I know Tyrell's watching, so
yes, yeah.
Well, all right. We appreciate you coming in and talking with us, Suki. Insane gameplay, both on the Ari, and honestly, I have never seen an Akali gameplay like that.
Absolutely mental.
Ever. But then again, I've only been watching since 2020, so not a lot of Akali games I have been able to witness, but definitely I am going to remember that kind of mechanical ability on that one. That's kind of insane. Appreciate you coming to join us. Go ahead and go enjoy your Saturday night, and hopefully we'll be able to watch you guys play again. Maybe the finals, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows?
Hey, thank you so much for the interview.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, bye.
Okay, so Meilu has come back. I hope you're relishing in your 2-0 victory.
I'm enjoying it severely. I'm just saying, the logos work, man.
They do, yeah.
I'm glad I changed my prediction. I'm not gonna lie.
I am 2 weeks in a row not getting a single point. I gotta say.
Yeah.
That really, really just sounds like an L for you, my guy.
It really does, yeah.
And nobody got Dragon Soul this week either.
Nope.
No one got a Dragon Soul right.
We got a Dragon Soul. We only had to do Dragon Conditioning once.
We had Mountain and we had a Cloud.
I'm noticing a trend.
Again.
Every week
it's always Mountain or Cloud.
So if you look at our stats page, by the way, for you guys that's sitting in Twitch chat, we have at Risen have a website that shows the stats page, and I guess it was updated recently because it definitely wasn't there last split. But it now shows the stats for champs picked, dragons, things of that nature, and then it gives an overlay of the KDAs, who's got the best KDA team-wise, and then it'll list the top 10 teams, and then it'll do the so on and so forth. So you guys go ahead and talk. I'm going to tell you that this stats page is lying in terms of Drakes because it says it's even.
So,
it's lying.
As you can see, as I'm very, very intently looking, so I'm looking towards the next week already as we have Namaste in Bed versus Erythral. I'm going to butcher that, and it's going to sound really bad next week, and I can already tell. So ETA being 2-2 and Namaste in Bed being 0-4, that's currently at this very present moment. So that could be updated between now and then. But ETA has to win the rest of their games to make it to playoffs, and then I don't think Namaste in Bed can make it, even if they win, if I'm thinking correctly. I think that is correct, but
Yeah,
math
I
is
think so.
I think so.
I'd have to do the math and all that, but I think so.
Okay. Well, that's but I mean, one of the things that I like to see is like teams near the lower end of the bracket play spoiler. I
Yeah.
like that, and so playing spoiler is
I
also
got
a
to do
really
that.
fun thing that I like to see. Knocking off the top teams, taking wins off of the top teams, so on and so forth. Those things are always really fun to see, and that's also where like in lower in the standings, teams can kind of play more with like what they like to do comfort wise instead of like sticking strictly to what has worked in the meta, and that could be a potential exciting series for next week. We'll have to wait and see what's going on for that one, and also World starts again Sunday night.
Yes,
So
it does.
it's pretty
Tomorrow
exciting
night.
stuff.
All right. I got the dragon stats.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
them?
So, do you know the least popped up Drake is?
Probably Hextech or Infernal.
Cloud.
That's
What?
dude, they're just lying. That's just false
How?
stats.
We
That is
How
false
many
literally got
times
it
statistics.
have
every
we
week.
seen it just
That is
this
false
split
statistics.
with this split alone?
That's just not right. That's not
All
right.
right.
They're lying.
The highest, this is where
They're
it's
lying.
bullshit. The highest, Chemtech.
That's also just not true.
51.
No, but here's the thing: is that Drake's spawn or Dragon's souls?
This is Drake's spawn, but even
Okay,
still.
see now
But
that
because
makes sense.
on Assault, it'll still spawn
We have
that
had a lot of individual Chemtech Drakes, so that
Well,
makes a
why
lot
is
of
there
sense.
51?
I don't know.
There shouldn't be that many.
It's
It
just
might
kind
be
of
including
funny.
last season,
Maybe
but I don't know.
it's Dragon takes because
Maybe,
there's only
maybe,
260.
maybe.
But still, that is
I mean, it's just funny that you're saying that out loud because, like, literally in every series we've had, it's either been a mountain or a cloud with the sprinkling of Infernal, and that's
the
pretty
only
much
one
it.
that makes sense is Hextech with 34. But Mountain is 47, Infernal is 43, and Cloud is 39, and those are the only three Drakes we ever see.
Yeah, we literally don't see anything else coming out of those. Playoffs.
I have to talk
Playoff
to
run.
Soulbird on the coding on that one.
So playoff runs right now, it's looking like it's pretty guaranteed that as I'm
Yeah.
looking across the table, that Dorado Gaming, Iota, Crimson Spartans, and then KEKW, Pogrude,
Yeah,
and Mind
any
Goblin will be
4-win
going to
team is
playoffs.
fairly guaranteed. Yeah.
So from here, it's kind of just like we won't really know like a clear picture until next week. I think I would give it till next week is when we get a clear picture.
Yeah.
But for the time being, yeah,
I can answer one question. Crimson Spartans today did clinch their playoff. They did, so they're 5-0 right now. So
so they cannot be eliminated. They
they cannot be eliminated.
God, please, can we get either? Imagine if we could just go back and forth between both games of both these top teams at week 7. Oh, it'd be so cool.
Yeah, KMP4 MPF Mind Goblins play and Dorado Gaming Oda and Crimson Spartans play the alleged 4 undefeated remaining teams. And they don't play each other until the last week of the season, like I mentioned. So they could be 6-0, both of them. All 4 of them heading into that final week. We'll see if they maintain that form. But both of those games have huge implications for first seed and what the bracket will look like.
Yep. Well, lads, I've got nothing else. We're ending kind of early tonight. Funny enough.
We are.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do something. I don't know. I plan on staying up all night. I got a 4-day. Darter, do you got anything else before we close it out?
Nope, nothing from me.
DBZ, you sir?
I don't give a shite. Let's go ahead and kick this puppy.
Yep.
Well, today has been a good Saturday all around for myself. I got to watch Oklahoma beat Texas. I got to watch League of Legends. I got to cast with my friends, and I get to go enjoy my Saturday. On top of that, I appreciate everybody coming in and joining us continuously throughout the split. For you DBZ Darter hyper fans, we love having you here, and fans of Unstoppable, because you love this gameplay. But there's still more League of Legends to be had. tomorrow there is still Divine, and Monday we do have Champions League. Those are fun to watch. They're entertaining, and the gameplay is insane. Their map awareness is a lot more higher tier, so it's a lot funner to watch. But here at Unstoppable, it's always still top tier plays. But that is going to do it for us here. We hope and we wish to see you guys back next week. Y'all take care.